Hello and welcome to Workhorse Wrestling Network. You are gathered with us this fine Saturday morning for the Winner's Circle.
Yes. Bright and early,
Bright and
Saturday,
early.
November 23rd, 7 a.m. Pacific, 11 or 10 a.m. Eastern. Anika wanted to talk about SmackDown from last night, the ending segment with
So,
the Bloodline first. So before we crack into Raw, go ahead and set the table, Miss Anika. Let us know what you wanted to say.
well. Did you watch it?
I did watch it.
How did you feel about it?
Uh, I feel like I was very interested before, and now I have two guys in it that are the main guys that I really don't like, and so it's honestly, it makes the story very dislikable for me at this point.
Really? Okay,
Well,
so here
you know how I feel about Roman, right? So
I
Roman coming back is
do.
what, and you know how I feel about CM
Are
Punk. It's like, could they get two more guys to put in this that I care less, that I actively hate more potentially? So I mean, yeah, I mean, for me, in a lot of ways, it ruins it. I mean, I would have much rather seen Zilla and Hikuleu on Roman's side than
Yeah. Uh,
on that side with Sammy and the Usos than Roman and CM Punk. But it is.
yeah,
I know we weren't getting away from Roman, but really to bring CM Punk into, like, come on, man.
they could take Sammy out and put Seth in.
That would make it even worse.
Yep.
Man. All right.
That would make
Okay.
it 100% even worse. And I don't even. I mean, I didn't even think they could make it worse. But the thought of that would make it 100% worse.
Mm-hmm.
So
Interesting. Okay. Dang, you just brought my whole mood down. Anyway, we can talk about it during like when we get to the segment on Raw, we'll talk about it. You can start, Sammy, fine.
We started out with the women. We had the heel women line up, and the face women came out, and they were like, "Your math is off. It's four of y'all and five of us." And then the music hit, and we had the return of Rhea. My bad. Rhea, Bloody Ripley.
All right,
And
so
Rhea comes to the ring. She goes, "War Games!" and headbutts Liv.
now look, out of everyone who is not William Regal, we had to go back, but I'm pretty sure she has the best war games. I think she has the best war games. Who is not William Regal? Very glad that I avoided spoilers. And I'm like, again, I don't know the aesthetic of knowing before the show. I really don't, right? Because like, if I knew before the show, this would have this moment was gonna probably go down astronomically for me. It was like, oh, I already know. So like, but no, for me to be surprised, like, yes, all right, great moment, because her I hurt. Like, it's not like I thought she was gonna be out until Royal Rumble. Maybe we'll try to WrestleMania. But yeah, her coming out and you can tell every wrestler has their favorite match. Osprey loves the casino battle gauntlet. Rhea loves war games. So I think probably in her mind she was like, "Hey, if my eye is not going to affect my wrestling, I'm not missing war games." And
Yeah,
so
I
I
think
don't
it's
know
just
what
a
it.
thing if like she gets hurt again, like it could disfigure her, but like it wouldn't kill her. I think that's kind of how it
That's
is.
not, wait, hold up, because that's not a good hand though. You're like, it just could disfigure her. Her eye can be put out her socket. She ain't gonna look like herself. But she won't
you
die
know,
though. She won't die. This
I
eye
mean,
gonna be cross-eyed. I'm like,
this is, to be honest, this is part of the reason why they have stuff in place to save people from themselves. I mean, a lot of these people, wrestlers, professional athletes especially, that's what they want to do, and they don't care what the consequences potentially are. And unfortunately, at some point, you do have to protect people from themselves to a certain extent. And I don't know, I mean, if it's just disfigurement, I mean, that's ultimately her choice. And like you said, I don't know that I would risk it, especially when, yeah, you're in a combat sport, but really it's entertainment, and your face is a bit of your moneymaker. So like, I don't know, but it is what it is. Here now. This was the exact opposite of the way that I felt about watching the SmackDown segment.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
Rhea coming back, I loved it. I was like, oh my God, yes, Rhea's back. Rhea's the fifth. Here we go. Let's get it. Like, and then the War Games and just nothing. I'm perfect Rhea. Just War Games and right into it. Like, let's just 100% or 100 miles an hour moving full force forward. And that's, let's just get to it. On site, it's on. So
I only had one issue.
Which was?
So Bianca, you're still upset at Bailey, but Io's fine. Like
we've already talked about this.
You and I did. Me and ALW haven't.
Okay, so I'll tell ALW what I told you. Bianca and Bailey go back before Damage Control. This is pandemic era where it was a whole lot of laughing faces in the whole auditorium, which is still weird. And like, oh my God, what we're doing?
Ding dong, hello.
Having to pick up Otis to compete against you, like it roots deeper than Io. I'm not saying the fence doesn't have holes in it. I'm just saying there's a fence in between the difference between Io and Bianca.
Yeah, like Mike Key says, thanks for joining us. Everyone else chiming in the chat, let us know what you think. Love to interact with you. Says lots of people get hurt working and can't stop. Yeah, I mean, that's the reality of the situation, and that's why you have to have things in place. Like in football, the concussion protocols, and if you have too many, that's it. I mean, if you have, those kind of things, I mean, you do at some point have to protect people from themselves, I think, to a certain extent. But at the same time, I mean, I'm also for letting people make their own decisions to a certain extent as well. So it's always a fine line, right?
Me and Anika were talking about that last night with the Dolphins. Like, Tua has a guaranteed salary of like $167 million.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like one concussion away from having to hang up his boots, but the Dolphins will have to continue paying that salary regardless.
Yep.
And it's like that's a lot of money to have tied up from your salary cap for someone who potentially is one game away from never playing again.
Like, hey,
I mean, yes, I mean, you're right. And at the same time, because of previous concussions, they consider people more susceptible after you've had one. And I understand, especially for quarterbacks that get hit a lot. Football is one of those games where every single player is one injury away from the end of the career, though. I mean, depending on what it is. So, I mean, it just happens to be that potentially he has a more likelier chance of getting a concussion. Now, what I don't understand, I get he wants to play, and that's fine. What I don't understand is why he refuses to at least wear the additional thing that goes on your helmet.
Mm-hmm.
That whatever that fabric or the additional, you got to at least wear that, dude. I mean, come on, like you got to try to do something to protect yourself a little bit. So, I mean,
that shouldn't be his choice no more. It's like, hey, either wear the helmet or don't play. That's what it means.
I say anyone can suffer an injury at any time that's career ending. There's a huge, huge difference between an ACL you don't come back from, or an Achilles you don't come back from, or a broken leg or a broken arm or something like that keeps you out, than it is multiple concussions and the potential of CTE or brain damage. So they are two different things. I mean, if I was him, I don't know that I would play again. I understand why he's playing. You're an athlete and that's what you do, and it is what it is. I don't know that I would make that same decision if it was me. I mean, he's already made enough money for me that I'd be like, fuck, I'm about to keep my brain and just relax. That's why I'm not an NFL football player either, because I don't have that type of personality. I'm not going to,
If CMC could just put on an extra pad on his ankles to protect his ankles from getting hurt, I have no doubt that CMC would not be putting those pads on his ankles.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Side note, Rhea Ripley looks good in the mask. And why everybody go to Cody Rhodes? Because no offense, Cody Rhodes with the mask is probably the best mask character with a broken face. I'm trying to think. No, yes, he has the best broken face mask. That's my take.
And number two is who? Like Joey Mercury?
Either Joey Mercury or Trish Stratus.
Yeah, like it goes down pretty fast.
So Cody might have had the best broken nose facial wear, but he had the worst turnover of anything passing a torch to someone when he gave it to JCJ and like, here, I'm giving this to you, and it was a complete flop. So
yeah.
And getting fitter, so she had to wear it over her normal one.
Io Bailey, this is the joy of having something that isn't necessarily real, right? And everyone still likes each other backstage and gets along. So you just kind of rewrite and people just put people in where they go. Yes, storyline, kayfabe, it might not make a lot of sense why she's okay with Io and not Bailey, and they're both wearing damage control and gave her a whole lot of shit. But at the same time, it is what it is. You got to have somebody in the match, and Io's, a superstar, so get her in the match and deal with it. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's the joy of being able to write the stories and the script yourself, right? As you can do whatever you want to do ultimately. So,
and I have a feeling they're gonna go in the next SmackDown. They're gonna fill in those gaps.
And there's far more egregious things that have happened over the years of wrestling that don't make sense than Io being on that team. So,
Oh, yeah.
Are they going to be writing Jade off of War Games?
Okay, real quick, and then we promise we won't talk about SmackDown no more. So Jade got attacked. Sorry, AEW, don't want to talk about this. Cover your ears.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So Jade got attacked. She got it looked like someone threw her off a thing and she crashed onto a car. Like, you gotta see it because her ankle. No, it's comical though because her ankles are all. I'm like, her ankle. No one's ankles are like that if they get crushed. No offense. Okay. Either way. So in the back, so Bianca tries to go to the ambulance and she snaps on Bailey because Bailey's out there trying to see what's going on. She's my partner, so shut up. Go to the ambulance. She's gone. It might be assumed that Jade is not going to be a part of War Games. I'm not sure, but that's what it feels like it's leaning toward. Because the ambulance, you don't really come back after a week.
So I don't know. So why are they doing this? Is there something going on with Jade that she has to be off TV for a minute? I mean, is she actually injured? I mean, why would they write her off of War Games at the moment? Her and Bianca are super hot. It doesn't make any sense. Even kayfabe-wise, or storyline, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So in my mind. And I'm not opposed to this. I love Jade, but I think Bailey's going to take her spot. And again, I love Jade, but I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at
storyline wise, especially.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Bailey joining the group because that's why I was giving a little hint of they're going to fix this narrative next week because that's when Bianca has to finally admit why she hates Bailey so much and not Io. But yeah,
so now Bianca has to watch her. So in theory, now Bianca has to watch her back against two women on her own team, as opposed to having Jade by her side. Why? I mean, what's the point of that? Again, why can't Jade be involved? I don't understand what.
Yeah, well,
and what are they going to do with Jade? I'm sorry, eliminate her from this. Are they eliminating her from the story in general? I mean, they're still a tag team. So what is her role now at this point? I mean, what?
So she's just on War Games. The story now is who attacked Jade because we didn't see who did it. We just saw her being on the hood of a car, crushed basically. So that's the story going on. Who attacked Jade? And and again, selfishly, depending on how long Jade is out, if we get more solo Bianca matches, I'm okay with that. So that's why I'm not really down about it. I'm like, you need some more solo Bianca. I'm not opposed to that. And so it's like so yeah, I get it. Kayfabe wise, I don't want Jay to lose that much time, but personally, I get more Bianca solo matches, and we get to fix this narrative of Bianca finally saying why you hate Bailey so much, and not Io. I'm here for all of that.
Yeah, I don't know. I prefer Jade over Bailey. So I mean, if you're looking at the two, I don't care if it makes more sense kayfabe wise or whatever. I like Jade over Bailey. And the idea that this makes me worried and feel like there's something going on backstage with Jade. Either she's not doing what they want her to do. She's not meeting the bar, towing the line. What if she's not filling the role well enough that they've decided to pull her from it for some reason and take her off of TV for this segment, which doesn't make any sense.
I was thinking
Meaning what?
That the person who attacked her likely to be Nia, and this is leading up to Jade versus Nia for the championship.
Yeah, I definitely don't think this is a worried thing of, they don't like Jade anymore. I don't think it's that.
I mean, if that's what's going on, then that I'm fine with. I mean, that would make me very happy. You say you want more singles Bianca stuff, and I do too at the same time. I mean, we've seen what Bianca can do. I'm ready to see what Jade can do as a singles wrestler in WWE too. I mean, so
Yeah. Not mad at that at all.
All right.
All right. So up next, we had Rey Mysterio and Selena Vega taking on Chad Gable and Ivy Nile.
This was cute. I like this.
The only part of this match the only part of this whole segment that I thought was interesting was at the very end with Chad Gable yelling at them in the ring when it was all done with.
That was weird. That was so weird. Oh,
But like I said it like years ago, and I'm happy to like finally be getting it. Of like Rey Mysterio should like be mentoring Selena, and like here we're seeing it. It's like all right, like, yeah, this is what we needed. Like
I love
Selena's
that
finally getting that rub.
Rada. That springboard to a Hurricane Rada was clean.
I don't mean to just pile on because everyone knows how I feel about Rey Mysterio, but at some point, everyone else that is roughly in his age group and has been around for so long, people start talking about why is he still here? Why is he still here? Why is he still on my TV after 25 years? No one cares anymore. He's not a draw anymore, in my opinion. He was a draw. He was a draw before. I'm not going to deny that. Lots of people have loved Rey Mysterio. I think that day has passed. I think he still is whatever, but he's not what he was. And why is he still on my TV in a major storyline all the time?
I wouldn't call this a major storyline.
Okay. Sorry, I wouldn't call it a major storyline. I apologize. It's probably
championships
hyperbole.
Him mentoring somebody else is what makes me happy. Like,
and let's be very clear. You're the only who says no one cares if he's on my TV. That's a lot, bro. That's a lot. I don't need him to win everything, but yes, he is still entertaining on my screen, hater. Dang. But yeah, let's talk about the last part. Well, you go.
Like, finally, you've stopped being a deadbeat and you're giving back to the younger people.
I shouldn't have let you go. No, that's not what this next. No, swipe right. No. But yeah, let's talk about the Alpha Academy. No, so Alpha Made, and this was I get what they were doing, but I haven't been really privy to this, so I'm like, what the freak? This is basically a frat boy energy of trying to pump each other up and that's hitting each other. It's like, okay, sure. Not going to go to a frat party ever in my life. It's fine. But I'm hoping that this, like, okay, you hype yourself up. That means y'all should win the next whatever, right? Like, you don't have this moment and y'all keep losing.
That's not a frat party thing. That's a sports thing. Like football, they do that a lot. Like they'll like pound each other in the chest. Like yeah, let's get it, yeah.
Yeah,
no, I mean,
well,
professional football players are also frat boys to a certain extent. I mean, locker rooms have a frat boy kind of air to them. I mean, a fraternity air to them. I understand what it means because I understand what you're both saying. Yeah, I mean, it's a little odd, but I don't know. I mean, I don't go for it. I don't do that whole rah, let's whatever. But at the same time,
keep your hands to yourself.
There's some sort of, I hate to say it, but apparently there is, and I guess it has been, there's some sort of disconnect, right? We all love Chad Gable, but for some reason, like, it feels like never quite gets over that hump. And it's like they're always trying to do something to try to reinvent him in a way, not necessarily reinvent him because he's basically the same character, but put him in different situations and different storylines to try to make him more likable or make him thrive more or whatever. And for some reason, it just doesn't seem to work a lot. I don't know. And now
I think him and the Creed brothers is a perfect combo, though.
I do too, to a certain extent, except that I really, really love the Creeds, and I feel like they're going to get the Chad Gable treatment. And I love Chad Gable too, but by association, they're going to get the Chad Gable treatment. And what is that? That's not great in WWE. I mean, I thought they would be tag team champions for a long time at some point and have it, and at this point, they're just Chad Gable's kind of sidekicks, and Chad Gable's a mid-card guy. So,
well, I think it's a no. It's a catch-22 of right now, we don't have anything for you as a big story. So how do we keep you still warm? I think that's the dilemma of any wrestling company. Of okay, we don't have anything for you right now, but how do we keep you warm until we do? And with that, with feuds, you go with feuds, aka go with LWO.
Right now, the tag team push is going to the War Raiders.
Yeah. And then we still have, and New Day is very interesting, even though they're not, they're kind of falling apart. They're still doing tag team matches. So yeah.
I mean, I understand that for years Vince hated tag teams because it was two people he had to pay for and whatever the stupid excuses are. But yeah. I mean, I kind of assumed that Triple H had a slightly different feeling. I mean, you can't push more than one tag team at a time. So the War Raiders. So on the books here, on the whiteboard in the creative room, it's like tag teams that get pushed. We only can choose one team, War Raiders, and that's it. Like you can't. There's not enough room to push more than one tag team when your tag team division is horrible and non-existent to a certain extent. I mean,
it does kind of feel that way, yeah.
I mean, why can't you push two different teams at the same time? I mean, I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, like I said, it's more so finding those programs during someone else getting a tag team, a championship shot, and that's why you need. That's like, even though you don't want to, boast up your roster. This is why you need more people on your roster so you can have these programs before they go for the title.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Not every. I mean, a good division has storylines that don't necessarily just have to do with a title. I mean, that's the whole thing about a good division or a good roster or a good show or whatever. I mean, they have storylines. Why can't you just have tag team storylines that don't have to do with the roster? I mean, or with the title. I mean,
maybe this is one of the failings of the 2-hour slot. Like an hour less. The one thing that they really took out is tag teams.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Like I said, I have hope, and hopefully it's just a more so moving the chess pieces thing, not a don't think about Chad Gable as a good wrestler thing. Hopefully it's the before that one.
All right. So backstage, you had Judgment Day, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and they're trying to Dom's tag team match with Carlito against the War Raiders is coming up, and they're trying to prep them up for it, I guess.
Go to the right. Go to the bathroom. Okay, this segment, so Liv comes in because she just got her behind kicked by Rhea, and Finn was like, "Hey, I know you're hurt. Let me take over." He's like, "All right, fine." No, that's not fine because we already know how Finn takes over, and it's not really good. So he's gonna so he preps up Dominic Mysterio and Carlito's like, "Hey, you're gonna soften up the War Raiders for us. We know you can take it. Hey," and this is very sarcastic. "Hey, you beat Damian Priest by yourself." It's like, please stop this. Please stop. And then he makes a comment of, "Hey, if I were you, I would go for the neck," because I believe that's how I either Ivar or what's the other bird's name? I don't be disrespectful.
Eric
and Ivar. Either one of them got hurt by the neck, and that's why they've been out. So it's like, hey, so when you go out there, maybe target the neck, which is actually smart. Be a smart wrestler, whatever. And that's what was the segment, sir.
Kid. It's weird to me because you have a couple stars, and yet since you've removed Rhea and Damian, Judgment Day, I really don't care. I mean, and I like Finn Balor, and I don't like Liv, but she is your women's champion, and you have Finn Balor and your women's champion, and they're extremely boring. They just are. They're not exciting. I mean, without Finn, and it's amazing without Damian and Rhea, just how I don't care anymore.
But hey,
I like Dom.
Sorry. I like Dom too. I mean, in a vacuum, I like Finn. I like Dom, but together they're just not. That Judgment Day group is with Big Head and Carlito and
also
Raquel and Dom and Finn just isn't exciting.
Also, I feel like we all like Carlito as well.
Yeah. We do. They're not giving him enough.
Anika's cool with Big Head, Scrappy Doo.
I am cool with Big Head because I've seen him do better in NXT. So that's why I'm like, let's get off Big Head.
So, like,
Gunner's
individually,
a really
these
solid
pieces
wrestler.
aren't bad pieces.
They're not bad pieces. They're just together. They just don't. I mean, I just feel like they don't do anything. I mean, they're just boring.
That special special little sauce on it to make it more whatever. Yeah.
They need an R-Truth. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Up next, we had Sheamus versus Braun Breaker. And the match got no contest, disqualification finish, whatever you want to call it, because Ludwig Kaiser came out, attacked Sheamus, and said, I told you I won't stop until you're gone for good.
Wait. So hold up. I think we missed a segment. Did we miss the segment with the Ring General and Ludwig in backstage? I believe that came before this.
I thought that was after this, but maybe not.
No, because I know because I say that because they were having this conversation and are you sure? Because Gunther was like, you had to make a name for yourself, and that's why Ludwig came out and disrupted the match.
Yeah, it was this, and it's another thing, and then it's that.
Okay.
So I guess I'll go ahead and move on to the next thing.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure this came before this because that's why Ludwig came out to interrupt the match. Because he was talking to Gunther, and Gunther was like, you got to make a name for yourself. You got to stop riding my coattails. And he was like, all right. And then that's when Gunther got all emotional and said, hey, am I still the Ring General? And it's like, yeah, buddy. Yeah, you're still the Ring General. But yeah, okay. But we can talk about the match now. So yeah, this match, it's crazy how I remember Sheamus when he first started, and I was not invested. I'm like, all right, cool, another big white dude on my screen. But I remember it like it was yesterday. 2011 clicked SmackDown. He did something. He was in the match, and he's like, I didn't mean it, fella, and it clicked for me. And now he went to and then he goes to the group with Fight Night, and it's like, oh, no. It was Pandemic era with Drew, and it's like, oh. And then he's in the group with Fight Night with Ridge and Pete Dunne. It's like, oh, it's like I love the progression of, oh gosh, now I love Sheamus. I'm happy to see him in matches. And him and Braun was a great match. It was a great match. Then it makes it mad because it's like, can we get to what? I want to remember the last time Sheamus had a match and it didn't interrupt it was Pete Dunne, which is fine. But it's like, come on, when he goes for the title, can we please stop ending in the DQ, please? I needed to stop it. Like, this was such a good match. And I get it. A triple threat with Ludwig. I'm actually not mad at that. But can we, like, we couldn't finish the match first? Come on. Because it was so good. And I love the whole bro kick, bro knee. That near fall is so freaking good. It's so freaking good. All right, go.
Okay. Next, we had a video package of Final Testament and The Miz. It recapped the feud going on with the Wyatt Six and how Miz is great. He should win an Oscar for his performance and everything else.
This is dumb. Dumb.
I dug it.
No, let me finish. It's dumb how I could not stand Killer Cross before this. And it takes a Miz to get me invested in Killer Cross. If you would have asked me, what does it take to rebuild up Karrion Kross's image that we actually care about him, I would have not said, hey, add Miz to this group. That would never be my answer. Ever, never in a million freaking years. But that was the answer.
This feels like the best thing that Karrion Kross has done on the main roster.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Triple H too, because like you talk about people who was brought back, and it's like Karrion was also was on that brink of, bruh, why you do that? And it's like, oh, now we see it, which is incredibly insane. It's
And this is the best thing that Miz has done since his feud with Judgment Day.
this is
I was just gonna say, am I missing something here? Because this is not Karrion Kross. This is the Miz. I mean, Kross hasn't been any better or done anything different. The Miz is there and makes it all better.
Yes.
I mean, I don't. Why is Karrion Kross getting the praise? I mean, because he brought Miz to the group. That's
no.
creative backstage. That had nothing to do with Karrion Kross. I mean, I don't understand why it's like, why is this the best work Karrion Kross has done in his career? This is the best work Final Testament's done as a faction because the Miz is there now, but Kross has not been any better, in my opinion. I mean,
I don't know who pissed in your cornflakes, but I mean, go to the corner real quick. I mean, let's go to the corner just real quick. I'm not saying Karrion gets all the praise. I'm saying I'm more invested in Karrion because of the Miz. That's what I said. It feels, I'll say this, it feels like with Karrion's character, you have to put him in the right storyline. I would have never
so
said.
the way that this worked out the best for me is if he went away and Miz took over. Karrion can just disappear, like leave TV and just let the Miz be the leader of Final Testament.
You know, Miz cannot control AOP. You know that. You know that. Come on now. They would run over him after the first week of a meeting. It's like, are we done? All right, bye. Before anything he responds.
The minute he says something to criticize them, yeah, it's over.
I mean, I hope this doesn't, lead to a Marine 1000 with the Miz as the main character again, because he did such a great job. Because he did a great job here, but. Yeah, no, I mean, he was in his bag, and this is great. I mean, this is where the Miz shines. I mean, for me, I'm a huge Miz fan, and his in-ring work is okay, but he's not the most athletic person, and his wrestling is a little, choppy at times. But this stuff is right where, I mean, this is where he thrives, right? I mean, he's an entertainer on the mic, in front of the camera. This is where he thrives. He's got personality. He's got that it factor, and he's brought it to the Final Testament, and he makes them interesting.
Facts. This is true.
We then had a backstage segment of Kaiser and Gunther, and Kaiser questioned Gunther for abandoning him last week. And
so back to all of this, like they had a really good match, Sheamus and Braun, and then it was fucked up by somebody I can't fucking stand. And somebody who's a mid-card guy on a title. I mean, so Gunther elevated that title. And then it did a little Sammy, whatever, and Braun, and back and forth, and Jay. It is what it is. I mean, I don't think it's at the level that it was when Gunther had it, but it's still not a mid-card title back to that level yet. It's still above that. And Kaiser is low mid-card at best. I don't even understand why Kaiser's on my TV. He's okay when he's getting beat up by Gunther and it's seen like this. He's okay when Gunther's telling him what to do. But why is he getting a push as an individual type of person at all? Like he's no good. Between him and Vinci, I'd rather have Vinci back in that role. I don't understand how they chose Kaiser over Vinci to begin with. Secondly, I just don't like it. And now he's interrupted a really solid match and fucked it up. And I don't care about Kaiser and Sheamus. Braun and Sheamus has legs and moves the needle and is fun. I don't give a shit about Kaiser and Braun. Like, that does nothing.
Me, on the other hand, I don't think that he's that Garnet, sir. Calling him a low-tier mid-card, that's a lot, sir. That's a lot. And it just makes sense because he's not a tag team anymore. And he can't, I think he's better than being just Gunther's manager. I think he's better than that. I think he actually is good in the ring. Let him have a match.
I feel like the more we go through this, the lower my Raw rating is going.
No, don't listen to him. I don't know what happened this morning. Maybe he needs some coffee.
I enjoyed this Raw, too. I mean, I liked it. I thought it was a good Raw.
Don't listen to him. But yeah, let's continue on to Gunther being insecure as hell, and I don't know how I feel about this segment.
And then
this segment I was down on.
Sneak attack backstage gets thwarted. Gunther and Damian Priest, and Damian Priest stands tall and says, "You might be a general in the ring, but on the streets, I'm the king."
That was a great line. I loved that line. Now let's go through it just a little bit. Now look, I loved their promo last week where Damien was like, "Hey, look, I can see your confidence is a little shaky after Cody beat you, right?" I love that. I wasn't mad at that at all. Like people were talking about why would hey. Whatever helps this feud become interesting to me, I'm involved. So I actually loved the promo last week. This was too much out of Gunther's character. I'm like, when in the world? I know I'm not an indie darling where I'm like, I've seen every indie show, but I've seen Walter on NXT and I've seen Gunther on the main roster. This is not Gunther. Gunther does not sneak attack people from backstage. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this now? This is out of the norm. This is dumb. This is stupid. I get it. That was a great life of Damian Priest. But is that line worth it? The line isn't worth letting Gunther do something this not Gunther-ish. It's not.
You know, I said when Tony D'Angelo got beat by Obafemi and said how, admitted to being scared and didn't want to, and I didn't like that, and I didn't think of that, and I don't like it for Gunther either. Like, one of the things about Gunther is that he truly believes that he can destroy anybody that he steps in the ring with. That's been his MO, and now all of a sudden he's got kind of this scared, nervous personality, which I don't like. A, you're the world champion, and B, you're Gunther. Like, that's not who you are. So it's not fitting, and I don't like it. I think it makes him look weak, and I don't like it. He shouldn't have that type of personality, in my opinion. I understand being cautious and scouting and doing your work and all those things. It's another thing to have kind of that scared, I have to attack him from behind. I got to be kind of a slimy cheat guy. Not that he's a heel, so he is a slime, but at the same time, like, he's an in-your-face, straight-up slimy guy. Like, he's an in-your-face bad guy. He'll tell you, he's not a behind-the-back kind of bad guy. So, like, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. And I think, unfortunately, it doesn't help his character, and it doesn't do a lot to make your world champion look strong. So, to be fair, that's a championship they don't care about. So it is what it is.
No, I don't. Okay. I'm not going to. You always take it 2 steps to the right over a ditch. I don't think they care about Gunther. They do care about Gunther. I think they are trying to make this match interesting, but you're doing too much. You're doing too much. Let's not do this no more with Gunther. I'm pretty sure he's gonna get his lick back before this match happens. This match happens Survivor Series. Before this match happens, he's gonna get his lick back. But yeah, don't do this no more.
Right. What's next?
Excuse
me.
So up next we had the Usos, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Sammy Uso trying to convince Seth Rollins to join OG Blood.
They're so cute together.
I have a friend that buys every wrestling shirt known to man. He's probably got 1 billion of them, so I live vicariously through him. So every time I see one, I'm like, dude, you got to get that one. And that was the first thing I said. You got to get that Sammy Uso shirt, dude. That Sammy Uso shirt is dope. So, it's good to see Sammy with those guys. Again, well, I'm not happy with the ultimate outcome that took place on SmackDown when it comes down to it, but I love to see Sammy.
These are the members of the group you like.
What? Yeah. What'd you say, Sammy?
I said these are the members of the group that you like.
Exactly.
This was cool. I love the dynamic.
Real quick. Core, it was either Jimmy or Jay. I think it was Jay. When they did the triple splash through the ropes, he did not hit his mark on his guy. He landed knees first on the ground.
His foot got the top rope.
I think Solo wasn't there. Like, either it wasn't off. It was off. Whereas like Solo, move closer, catch him. It was good enough. It was good enough. It was like, I need someone to move closer and catch him, but it was fine.
No, Jay's foot caught the top rope, and it took like a foot out of his flight.
Right. He had a top dollar moment.
It's like
not as bad. It wasn't his whole ankle. It was just his toes. So it just slowed him down a lot, and he wasn't able to get the distance.
Oh, gosh.
But it literally comes to, a centimeter. If he jumped a centimeter higher, it would have been fine.
Yes, it would.
All right.
Continue on.
All right. So Seth Rollins ain't into it. He's like barking up the wrong
Thankfully.
tree. Listen, I love you guys, but there ain't no chance in hell I am tagging with Roman Reigns ever again.
Side note.
Because
You talking about no real
Which
quick.
is
You
funny
talking
because
about
it's the only thing that, I mean, it actually makes sense storyline because Bronson Reed's on the other side. But let's not worry about the story. Let's just do this other thing that we're gonna do and bring in the other guy.
You know what? You know what? You know what? I'm gonna say a piece of an event. Say a piece of an event. In this segment, yes, it makes sense.
I'm hating on everything. It's
Yes,
Saturday morning. I'm up too early. I'm hating on everything.
Dad got it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What I was gonna say. Oh my God. Okay, no. Yeah, in this segment, it makes definite sense. It's like after everything they've been through, Seth cannot be the person. Thank you, CM. Thank you. Okay. No, he was talking about Luther. Yeah, no offense. We're gonna have the AEW real quick. He's talking about Luther Kaiser sucks. He's a lower mid Carter. Ray, don't nobody care about you no more. Why he on your screen? I can't. He's like, why is CM Punk in here? And I know you probably agree with the CM Punk thing. So that's why I got a little toast. It's like, why is CM Punk in this match? This is dumb. Oh, Dad got it, sir. Shoot. I know you agree about Ray and Ludwig. All right, so in this segment, yeah, I love Seth, and like I was telling Timmy this last night. They're like, the last time the Shield got back together, right? It was after Roman Reigns came back from remission, and like, I'm not saying it takes cancer to get Seth and Roman Reigns back, but it does take that level of it takes that level of emotionalness for them to come together. I think like maybe if someone hurts the baby, if someone gets it takes that. It was going to take more than we need a fifth man for Seth and Roman to get back together. So I'm all on board with Roman and Seth not being on this team. And again, I love Jimmy. Yeah, I was gonna say when Seth was like, I'll tag with you, Sammy, I'll tag with you, Jay, I'll tag with you. Like, hold up, Jimmy, hold up, side note, you ain't never tag with Jimmy. And everyone like, you ain't never tag with Jimmy. Y'all ain't cool like that. I'm trying to like, we trying to look back in the archive. Was that on NXT? You ain't never tag with Jimmy. You on a roll. We get it. You're on a roll. But
CM agrees. She thinks Ludwig could be a bigger deal, but WWE just doesn't know how to use him. I don't know. I don't see it, but she does agree about Phil. So
yeah, I knew you agree about Phil. Yeah.
She says, I also think Tonga Loa would be a goat if he were to accidentally mistime a kick.
Why stop trying to put a hit out on Phil?
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. All right, what's next?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was messaging my sister.
Nope, I was just saying.
Next, we had the War Raiders taking on Judgment Day. Dom Mysterio and Carlito.
Yeah, like we knew it was gonna be. We knew they weren't gonna win, but it was entertaining nonetheless. Did y'all have any highlights of the match?
No. I mean, I thought it was okay. I mean, Dom and Carlito are two of the guys that I do like in Judgment Day. So, you know, and seeing them together is fun. I mean, I think they have good chemistry. They're both fairly upbeat. They're the two, honestly, and I like Finn, but they're the two out of the group that probably have the most charisma and the most it factor. So the two of them together is a lot of fun. The War Raiders getting the push. Obviously, we knew they were going to get the win, but at the same time, like, it is Judgment Day, and they are one of your main event factions, so you never quite totally know. But yeah, I mean, the War Raiders have been getting the push. And
you also got the old dude and the young dude, so it's like a mentorship thing going on as well, which I always enjoy. The only thing is that it's almost like Razor Ramon and Eddie Guerrero from Wish.
There you go.
The Wish version of Razor and Eddie.
No, I think we have a different comparison. Yeah, I'll say more of Cody and freaking and Hardcore Harley than Razor and Shawn Michaels. I think that's probably more of it than what they're doing right now.
No. Razor and Eddie, not Razor and Shawn. Because okay, Carlito's character when he came out, he was Razor Ramon. That was his character. His character was Razor Ramon.
He's not that now. I get it though.
As for Dom, look at him and tell me he ain't trying to be Eddie right now.
I mean, he's a Timu Eddie, right? A Wish Eddie, right? I mean, he's
no,
Wish
no,
version of Eddie.
we're not calling
It's
people
not fair,
Wish
though,
version
'cause
of it.
he has his own abilities, too, but I mean, some of that's his own fault because he's trying to walk too much in Eddie's shoes. I think to a certain extent. So, for me, I think Dom needs to ultimately kind of separate himself from Eddie Guerrero to a certain extent. I understand wanting to pay homage, but like, his character's better now, and he's slimier now, and he's all that. But like, I liked his look better when he first came in than I do the whole I look like a cheap knockoff of Eddie Guerrero now. That's my personal opinion.
He's rocking the mullet. It takes a great face to do a mustache well. It's like, and that's not Eddie Guerrero or anything. It's just like you with anybody with a mustache, bruh. You gotta embody that. You ain't embodying that player. Like you either get some facial hair at the bottom, which probably look better. Like this is like a little soul patch. This probably go better than mustache. But yeah, just a mustache, no.
It's a good thing for him. Go ahead.
He did an interview with CVV, Chris Van Vliet, and Chris was like, "Can you name me anything good about Rey Mysterio?" And he was like, "Yeah, he's got nice hair."
Good for Dom in the long run, but the thing is that he still looks very young. He looks like a kid in the face still. He hasn't really aged at all. So the mustache looks like a kid wearing a mustache. Like it doesn't look right. It doesn't look like you're old enough to have that yet.
But no, like he definitely looks better with long hair. Like I was looking back in the pandemic, like, oh wow, he did like the long hair is definitely beneficial towards you. Keep the long hair. But yeah, the mustache is. Baby, you gotta do something else.
All right. What was next, Simmy?
Sorry, my family's trying to discuss Thanksgiving right now.
Just tell me mac and cheese.
My group chat's just going crazy. Video package highlighting Dakota Kai.
Yeah. All right. So we'll put these two together because no offense, there's no reason why we should have them separately. They also had a video. No, they had a video package for Live by Kyria. It feels like they're gonna have a mid-card title for Raw, a women's intercontinental title. I don't think they need that though. Like we're doing the women's United States Championship on SmackDown. I would prefer that champion go from both brands. I don't think the women need another mid-card title on Raw. I know, I think you're still trying to commit to these two different shows, and that's okay. I'm cool with that. But you have to think quantity over quality. Sorry. Quality over quantity. And on Raw, you don't have enough people I'm invested in to have, hey, I want her to be the mid-card women's champion. I'm sorry.
I disagree.
Tell me more, friend.
You got people like Lyra Valkyria, Kyrie Sane, like the women on Raw that aren't given an opportunity for the U.S. Women's Championship is like Raw doesn't have as many women. Like yes. I'll get that out of the way and say that it doesn't have the sheer capacity that SmackDown has for the women's division, but it still has women that deserve to have the opportunity to.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they don't give them an opportunity, but I think just having the U.S. title go from brand to brand is better than having just a Raw mid card title for the women. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm not a fan of the draft or the brand split because you don't really adhere to it anyhow. So, I mean, if you're going to adhere to it, then I'm okay with it. But if you're not, and you're going to have champions go from show to show, then I don't know why you need another women's title for a women's division that is basically non-existent, unfortunately. Um, that being said, if you're going to do the brand split, then do it. Keep your champs on your show and run it in a vacuum. And sure, give the women a mid-card Raw women's mid-card title. But you don't do that. So, I mean, you might as well just have the U.S. title be that mid-card title for both shows. I mean, I don't know. I tend to agree with Anika, although, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Real quick. You said Lara. I don't. No offense. Don't care. You said Kyrie. I'm interested in her if we're doing a United States, if we're doing a women's intercontinental title, Dakota. I think she has a shot. If she can stay healthy, she has a shot of being a good star. Like that's saying a big star, but U.S. Sorry, he's saying U.S. Women's Intercontinental Champion. I can see that. Talk about Raw just real quick.
So hold on, real quick. Let's look at it another way. Who are your main event women? Rhea.
Io. Yes.
And who?
Because she's champion Liv.
So you got 3.
Yeah.
And so you probably got 15 women on the Raw roster. So all the rest of them are mid card.
Yeah.
So I mean, those are all the women that Sammy's talking about that could compete for a mid card title.
But I'm trying to think of who I really care about. I did.
Like, of course, Ivy Nile would be in that conversation, but I wouldn't care for her winning.
I mean, the Raquel Rodriguez's of the world. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, they could put a belt on her and try to make Judgment Day even bigger and better. I don't like that idea. I'm just saying, like, like we said, there's only 3 main event women and Liv is debatable. Liv rides the fence for me. She's only main event because they put a title on her and told her she is.
I preface it because she's champion. I preface it because she's champion.
They really have like 2. So, the rest of them are mid cards. So they need a title.
Asuka's coming back eventually.
Yes.
But I think she's on SmackDown, right, though?
No. Raw. She's in Damage Control.
Okay.
So
the thing is that one faction has 2 world champion contenders with Asuka and Io.
Yeah,
and
when she's coming back, when she comes back, I mean, Raw acted like Dakota was a huge, and I like Dakota Kai, but like it doesn't move the needle like a whole lot. Like, I mean, it's she's definitely the weakest person in Damage Control. I'm sorry. I mean, she just is. And between Bayley and Dakota, Bayley's even better. So, I mean, no offense to Dakota Kai. I like Dakota Kai. But, I mean, she comes back and it's like, oh, my God, Dakota's back. And I'm like, okay, I guess Dakota Kai's back. Like, I mean,
I'm
honestly,
happy
and I said this at the time when they were together. I always liked Tegan Nox better than Dakota Kai when they were together. So, I mean, I've always been a little disappointed that I feel like they gave the nod to Tegan and gave, the boot, which I didn't really care for, Tegan the boot. I think Tegan got hurt, but what?
Here's the thing, though, is that Tegan was the better wrestler. Dakota was the better promo. And you and me, we prefer the wrestling over the promos, but WWE is known for being the other way around.
Yeah. Like I said, don't not saying that Dakota. Both y'all went out. Oh, okay, cool. Not saying that Dakota should be.
I had to blow my nose real quick. I figured you wanted to hear that. So.
No, you're good. Like the simultaneous, both of y'all went out. Like, dad, want it. All right, bye. But yeah, not saying that Dakota should be going against Liv Morgan, but if we're getting, and we're all speculating, a women's Intercontinental Championship, I think she'd be good in that division. We're actually putting a pin in who is the women's mid card. I think she's a good shot.
I agree. I think she's at the top of the mid card pile. I do think she's good enough to be kind of at the top of the mid card pile. So I think she, if you've got 10 or 15 women in the mid card and you have a mid card title, there's probably 5 competing for it, and she's one of them for sure. I mean, that would be my guess. So
cool. All right, move on.
All right, what's next here?
Up next, we had a video package of Bo Dallas.
Just right up in the face. Just right up in the camera. You made him do this. You made him do this.
He said that Mrs. Hands will be staining blood thanks to his
Something's going on with
actions,
your microphone.
and that Bo never wanted this.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to make they're doing everything they can to make Bo Dallas, to make everybody like Bo Dallas and Uncle Howdy and the Wyatts and all that stuff. So, I mean, I do too. I mean, the jury's still out to a certain extent. I liked Bo before. I always liked Bo and Curtis Axel together. I mean, I liked Bo. I liked Bo leave before. So I mean, I didn't really have a problem with Bo Dallas.
The biggest thing is try not to compare him to his brother, because if you compare him to his brother, you will be disappointed.
Which, I'm not sure. I mean, yes, you're right. And at the same time, I don't know how you don't do that to a certain extent. I mean, especially when WWE is doing what they're doing with him. They're basically making him, trying to make him Bray 2.0 by being creepy and do what Bray wanted to do and all those kinds of things. Like,
he wants to carry on his brother's legacy, and I respect that.
Which is fine, and I get it, but realize then that you're walking in shoes that you don't fit in. Unfortunately, it just is what it is. So it's always going to be slightly inferior. If you're fine with that, that's fine. But if you really want Bo Dallas to shine and you think Bo Dallas has talent and you're Bo Dallas and you want to be Bo Dallas and shine, that's not trying to be your brother 2.0 and not being as good at it. Sorry. I mean, it's not. I mean,
I think it's fine.
In this in this context of him going against him going against Miz and Karrion, he's positioned well. This is done well. I'm talking about, I didn't want to do this. I try to grant you mercy. But you chose this. I'm not responsible for what happens next, that means a serious beatdown, which I am all here for. We're still carrying in the Miz. ALP still all right. But yeah, Karrion missing the Hodge whoop.
All right. What was next?
We had Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed.
Main event. This is it's going by real fast. Let's go. All right.
I did have another thing on here. Hold on. A backstage confrontation between Alpha Academy, Kofi Kingston, and an edgy Xavier Woods.
Wait. Yes. So, furthering this beautiful story of dissension between the New Day. This is how you do dissension, everyone. This is how you do dissension. So Kofi steps up to Alpha Academy, and Maxine was like, "Hey, you happy for the anniversary? You good?" He's like, yes and no, because Xavier's doing weird things, and Xavier walks up and he's like, "Hey man, I don't know what's going on. We've been here for 10 years, but the last couple of weeks is the only time that we've been actually fighting and yelling at each other." And it's like, I don't know. This is what I love about it.
I'm thinking Karrion Kross may have been right.
That part too. It's like, what are you talking about, bro? He wasn't right. You just gotta get out of your head and remember what the New Day's all about. Like, oh, I gotta remember. I was like, sir, I wasn't talking about. Well, you're the one who asked the doggone question. And then, Otis being Otis, he's like, come on, we're all friends. And Xavier being real, talking about, sir, no one was talking about you. And if I need advice from your behind, that's why. Hey, God, you have to say this. This is why Chad Gable left y'all. Like, wait, hold up. Whoa. Sir, take it down like 5 notches. Nope, you can still stay in this energy. Well, so how about New Day versus Alpha Academy, and maybe that's how we can relive renew the feeling of New Day. It's like, sir. No, okay, sorry. Pardon my friend. Give me some booty. I thought you either you need some booty or drugs or something. What do you need in your life to get out to wind down a little bit? Dang. But yeah, no. The thing I like about this is both Kofi and Xavier think they're right. Like usually when you talk about if you don't think you're right, you're talking about you talk about your boy with anybody, they walk up to you. The trope is, I didn't say anything. Kofi's like, no, I'm gonna tell you. I've been telling them. I don't care. I was like, we friends like that. I'm not scared of your behind. So I love that they truly think they're both right. Right? And it's like, just take a step back. But I think next week you're gonna get Alpha Academy versus New Day. I feel I know it's going to go happen the 10-year anniversary of New Day. Not sure when they're going to do that because I definitely don't think it's going to be next week. The week after that. But it's like, don't just talk this through.
How long do you think they let this just marinate these two before they actually have an actual okay, we're not, this isn't happening, and now we're actually fighting each other between Woods and Kingston? When do you think that comes to a head finally?
So I think they're going to do the celebration of 10 years of New Day, right? I think they look at the calendar. It's like, oh snap! It's actually right before Survivor Series. Can't do that. We're gonna do it the week afterwards. We gotta do the week afterwards. Hey! We're gonna do it. It won't be the actual anniversary. It's gonna be the week after because we gotta get through the war game. But you're on our minds. You're on our mind. You know what? And actually, I'm not totally mad at that because if you do it next week, it's going to be overshown by the women's war games or the men's war games. So I'm actually cool with y'all waiting a little bit as long as you give them the time it needs. So whenever they do the Monday Raw anniversary of New Day, I think that's when it's going to happen.
I guess Woods could be way more irritated and upset than he actually appears, but doesn't feel like we've come to that moment yet where the tension is absolutely oh my God, it's got to happen now. It just feels like there's still a little disagreement going on. Right. So it feels almost a little premature, but I suppose if they do it, sooner than later, they can he'll just have to say he was madder than we all realized he was, I suppose. I mean, because right now it doesn't quite feel like it's reached that level yet. So, but I'm here for it. I mean, unfortunately, I like the New Day. So, it is what it is. And unfortunately, WWE has to eventually break up every tag team, I guess. So it's New Day's turn.
They got DIY on SmackDown. And I'm like, why are you guys doing this? Why?
I guess it's New Day's turn now. I mean, I guess that they feel like since Big E's left, New Day hasn't really been what they were, which, that's a discussion we can have or a debate we can have. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm not opposed to a feud Woods. To a Kofi Xavier Woods feud. I think it'll be fun. I just don't understand why we have to break up every tag team. But it is what it is. All right, so now main event segment.
Bronson.
I can't hear you.
Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins.
This was better than Saudi Arabia. This should have been false count anywhere. It should have been false count anywhere. But I am glad that Bronson got the win. I would have rather preferred that Saudi in front of on a premium live event, but at least they gave it to me nonetheless, right? And I love Solo, the reason why he won is because Solo wants to be. I'm not sure what clicked on Solo's mind, or he's like, you know what? Me being a brooding tribal chief is not working. So how about I just be myself? I feel like this is more of what Solo is, where he's more. So he's like, you know what? Let me just be Solo tribal chief. And I say that he gets on top of the announce table. He's trying to get Seth Rollins' attention. Hey, Seth Rollins. I'm like, what? Who are you right now? And I gives Bronson Reed the advantage to Santons. And I'll say it once. I'll say it again. Bronson with Solo and Jacob and Kevin Owens. But yeah, Bronson with the new bloodline, it fits. It fits. I love it. So I'm here for all of this.
I mean, thankfully Bronson got the win here. I mean, he benefits more from a win over Seth than Seth does from a win over him. And you're pushing Bronson Reed a lot. You're giving him a lot of time on TV. You've now put him in the Bloodline storyline, which is your biggest storyline on Raw, and so probably your biggest storyline in WWE. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a good spot for him, and it's time for him to get that win over Seth. That being said. And both matches haven't been bad. This one was better than the one in Saudi. They haven't been bad. That said, I don't know that I need to see it a third time. I know we're kind of 1-1 and we'll probably get a rubber match, but because WWE has to do that. But at the same time, like, I don't need to see a third match again. I mean, I would rather have Seth go off and do something else at this point and let Bronson Reed just do whatever he's doing with the bloodline. And I don't know what that is for Seth. As far as I'm concerned, I don't really care. I'm not a big Seth Rollins fan. So as long as it's not chasing Gunther down for the title, I'm fine with that. So as long as it's something else, I was extremely excited for what I thought looked like a Shinsuke Nakamura Seth Rollins program a couple months ago when Shinsuke was back being all mysterious, and he had like 5 promos and 1 match and then never just went away. And so I was looking forward to that. That had legs for me. That kind of moved the needle. So something similar to that. I mean, but it is what it is. I mean, so
what was the Bloodline brawl needed here?
No,
yeah,
not necessarily.
So what? So, yeah, no. Well, yes and no. Okay, so before the match, the Tonga Owens and Jacob came out to distract Seth, and here comes Jimmy J and Sammy. I love them together. So I'm gonna say yes, it was needed because before Friday, everyone thought Seth was gonna eventually be like, okay, I'll join. And it's like, so I love the red hair. So for the red herringness and the swerve of it all, they didn't need this brawl. It was good. And having Jay, Jimmy, and Sammy out there makes this more of a main event. Because I love Seth.
Argue with.
Yeah, I love Seth and Bronson, but Bronson isn't there to be a main event, just straight solo by himself. That's just me.
I mean, I hope that they see that for him because I do, but we'll see. I mean, you're probably right.
Not yet.
Unfortunately, yeah, and maybe it's just not yet. I mean, this is, like I said, this is your big storyline on Raw is the bloodline and probably in WWE in general at the moment. So it makes sense that it closes out your show. Bronson Reed is part of the storyline and he's in the main event match. So it makes sense that they're here. That being said, I mean, I didn't necessarily need the brawl. I mean, I would have been fine with just the match and, some sort of other ending, but there's wrong with this. I mean, thought it was fine. I mean, I thought this was a solid show. I mean, in talking about it, I feel like I came down a little bit on that because I really enjoyed it at the time. Like going into this review, I was going to give it like a B+, but now I think I'm at the B. I think I'm giving it a solid B. So
it was definitely a B. I loved it. Side note, because you really pissed me off. CM Punk over Seth, I will choose any day. If we're going to do a 5th man for War Games, yes, I'm tired of Seth that doggone much, and more so the Paul Heyman aspect of it all. I love. So real quick, because You took your sales out. You took your sales out earlier this morning, but it's fine. I'm getting it back. So, SmackDown and new blood, old blood's coming together, and they're not going to surrender. They only have 4 men. Just hearing, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Heyman's back. He actually shaved. He actually looked like he slept. Like the last time we saw him, he had the gray beard and he had red bloodshot eyes. It's like, sir, I don't know what's going, but he actually looks well rested. I honestly, if you would have just had Paul Heyman come back, I would have been over the moon, because that's how, just Paul Heyman by himself, it was just like, oh, the wise man here, and then you have the connection of, I know a Paul. If you need a 5th member, I know a guy who's a Paul Heyman guy who knows a guy. Yes, I'm here for CM Punk over Seth. And more so, it makes more sense because CM Punk was not here for the tribal chiefism. So he didn't so the whole 4 years of tirade of Roman Reigns, he was not here for. So we had to discuss, how will they coexist? Hey, it's for the wise man. It's for the wise man. And then further connection, Paul Heyman knows the thing about war games. He was with the Dangerous Alliance, who was big behind cell phone. So more so not CM Punk, more so Paul Heyman makes me excited about this whole situation. I'm excited that Paul Heyman's back and this is his plan. I'm excited for all of that. Yes. Okay.
I mean, I'm happy that Paul Heyman's back. Too. I just wish he had brought someone besides CM Punk, and I get it. CM Punk is a Paul Heyman guy. I get it. What I don't understand, and maybe one of you guys knows this, or CM or someone in the chat knows this, I read a thing, and I confirmed it by reading a second one. Apparently, Hikuleu signed with WWE at the same time Jacob did, and we still haven't seen him, and I'm curious as to why. I would rather have Paul Heyman brought Hikuleu than CM Punk.
He's not big enough. You can't do that to him.
He's playing tall enough.
He is we know about him, but he's don't do that to the guy. That's a very tall order for his first match.
I mean, he's probably not main roster ready like Jacob was, so maybe it's going to be an NXT thing first, but I still wonder why, if he signed when Jacob signed, we've been seeing Jacob for several months now. We haven't seen anything from Hikuleu, so I'm just curious as to why they're waiting or what they're waiting for. So
more so better positioning. What are we going to do with them?
Hikuleu is Tama's little brother, I'm pretty sure.
Right. Tama's bigger little brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like that too. My younger brother's bigger than I am. My younger brother's like 6'4", and I'm like, you fuckhead. Like,
shoot, he's a little taller than me.
Look up to you. Yeah, he's tall. I'm like, what? We don't have the same mom, so
that's
my mom's side of the family is very short. His mom's family is very tall. Like all of her brothers, like 6'9". So that's why I got the height.
I am the youngest / tallest, but I am also the only boy. So
my mom's like 5'10", 4'10". So
I'm the youngest, but I'm definitely taller than my older sister. The oldest sister. I'm definitely taller. It might be a sibling thing. It might be a sibling thing.
All right. So what do you guys give it? Oh, you gave it a B. Anika, Sammy, what's your grade for Raw?
I was going to give it a B, but after going over the show, I'm going to go B-.
Don't listen to this emotional crackhead. I don't know what happened this morning. Don't listen to him.
I'm going B-.
Whatever.
Right. So B and B-.
You were excited about the Paul Heyman thing. I mean, go back and watch Friday Night Fights. You were excited about it. So don't do that now because AEW's feelings.
I was excited for Paul Heyman, and then CM Punk came out, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Whatever.
All right. So moving on. Let's switch gears, and we will talk about NXT from this past Tuesday. It was it opened showing Axiom and Frazier, Sammy's favorite tag team of all time, backstage. For Axiom's nervous about the tag team division because they have a huge bullseye on their back. And Frazier's a little more concerned with his Iron Survivor qualifier match, which doesn't make Axiom happy. And then you see Gallus lurking in the background, which is a foreshadowing of things to come for the night because it was a heavy tag team night on NXT as far as storyline goes. So we get the first match, which is the Iron Survivor Challenge or qualifier, Nathan Frazier versus Eddie Thorpe. All the tag teams, for some reason, are strategically placed around the ring. It almost looks like a lumberjack match.
They're stalking though. They're just stalking.
And they're all watching, right? Stalking
Yeah.
Axiom and Frazier. And so that's ultimately, what was I going to say? Ultimately, Frazier gets the win. And then it all breaks down, and ultimately all the tag teams end up brawling, and it ends up being a big fight broken up by the officials. What'd you guys think of this whole segment with the tag teams and everyone there at ringside, this match and everything? What do you think? What do you and Frazier getting the spot in the Iron Survivor?
So
match.
First things first, yeah, Nathan Frazier's a good solo competitor. Yeah, it feels like when Bianca was going against Io, it's like, oh, you do this thing good by yourself. So I was very happy with the match. I actually love the whole tag team thing. I love that Nathan still got the win. If Nathan lost, I would have been a little bit miffed about everybody surrounding the ring stalking him, but he still got the win. So I actually like, all right, so I was cool with everything. Talking about putting the attention on the tag team division, this is a good way to do it. I actually like how they did it a lot. And again, I reiterate, Nathan was still winning. I was cool with everything, right? And I think them all coming out makes this a great opening match as well.
I mean, I thought it was fun. I thought it got, the crowd up and going. I thought it moved things into second and third gear real quick with all these tag teams brawling. And for a company that really is down tag team wise, to have NXT have a good tag team division, I think is good. So let's do it somewhere. Might as well do it on NXT. So I think it makes it exciting. So yeah, I mean, I'm here for it. Plus, I think ultimately, because WWE loves to break up tag teams, I think we're ultimately going to get what Sammy and I had talked about before, which is a split up. I'm less for it now than I was, but a split up between Axiom and Frazier ultimately.
It's your fault. That's spoken in existence.
I think that's what this storyline is ultimately leading to. They're going to lose those titles, and then it's going to be Frazier's fault on Axiom's end because Frazier was too focused on his own stuff, and it's going to end up being a feud between the two of them, which I don't necessarily have a problem with. So, I mean, I enjoyed this. I thought this was fun. Sammy, what did you think about this?
It was booked well. I don't like Frazier though, so.
Yeah. Next, we got an Andre Chase vignette, or Chase U vignette. Andre Chase talking about how he's putting Chase U on the line again, and about how Chase U is blah 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 blah. And so, he gives everyone their props. He talks about Thea and Riley Osborne and Duke and all those things. And it has a little feel-good moment. And he says tonight he rights all Ridge's wrongs and becomes the number one contender. Anything you guys want to say about this Chase U segment?
It was at that moment that I knew that he fucked up.
Shut up. So we have more moments like this. And if y'all told me to shut up, it was like, all right, what does this really mean? Like, when you laid on thick of these speeches of company two, like, oh, we're going to tag team, we're going to team. And it's like, you have all these backstage back memories to the promo. It's like, oh, crap, we're going to be losing. And like, hey, come on. Like, can we please, what you call it? Can we please don't lay it on so thick, right? Because it's like, even though Andre Chase versus Trent isn't a big match, I was thinking over Charlotte. No, I was just over Charlotte. So yeah, so this was like one of the segments, and it was sweet. It was nice.
Next, we had Julia in a little promo segment talking about how it's been difficult here, but she's enjoying it. She's getting her acclimated to American society to a little bit. She says the fans of Japanese pro wrestling have described her as beautiful madness, that when she started, she had no martial arts experience, that the only experience she had was fighting on the streets. And she says after she qualifies for the Women's Iron Survivor, she'll win the match, and she's coming for Roxanne Perez in the the NXT Women's Championship. Wow, there was a faux pas. The NXT Women's Championship. What do you guys think of this Julia promo?
Julia is still Julia.
You sound a little like you're in a tunnel.
Yeah, good.
What about you, Sammy? I know you have something to say about Julia.
Well, I prefer her wrestling over her promos, but this was a great promo. I have nothing negative to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, for someone that's fighting a language issue, a little bit of a language barrier, I thought it was fine. There have been people that I thought have had a lot of the same issues and have come off worse. I thought this came off good for someone that's not really comfortable speaking English at all yet, and trying to do the best that she can. I mean, I thought it
and
came
it's
off
not her
okay.
second language; it's her third language, I believe. It could be fourth.
Okay.
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's her ethnicity?
She is Japanese and Italian.
I was because she doesn't look like this sounds terrible. She doesn't look overly Asian like some do. And so I was like, oh, she does look like she's mixed with something. So the Italian makes a little sense. So
Which
that's
is
a
why
horrible way to
I
say that. I
was
should have worded that in a
booking
totally
her
different
to
way.
join the family.
Yes, you said that. And no. Okay.
I know I should have said it in a different way.
No, you're not. Yeah. No. I am here for, let's say if the Don needs a favor, one match, one favor. That's it. But yeah, like you said, don't need to talk a lot. This was cool. Just let the aura of Julia be the aura of Julia.
Couldn't you imagine her being the Donna, though?
No!
I mean, okay, so listen, if we're talking about, there's no comparison between Rizzo and Julia. I mean, if you're talking about, having to, if you're going to have a woman and those are your two choices, obviously Julia is the choice. And that being said, I don't necessarily want to or think that she needs the D'Angelo family either. She has her reputation precedes her, so I think she can stand on her own.
Mm-hmm.
The D'Angelo family doesn't necessarily need two women, and unless you're right. I mean, you're probably right. I mean, I think she's a big enough star that she probably eclipses Tony D. And so if that's the case, then it's, I don't know, it becomes a little odd. I don't know. I'm not sure that I'm here for that.
Well, I booked that
not
with
that I'm not
Tony
here for
D going to
a
the main
female
roster.
Dawn. Yeah. But I'm not necessarily opposed to a female Dawn. I think that idea is kind of a cool thing. At the same time, I don't know that that's what I want to see with the D'Angelo family. So.
Oh, that reminds me. Did you watch The Penguin?
I did.
Not yet.
Okay, so no spoilers. We won't say nothing yet.
Well, we just talked about a female Dawn, so it came to my mind.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. What were you going to say, DK? Were you going to say something about this?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not here. I'm here for a favor. I called in a favor, and Julia and Dom wrestled one time. That's it.
Your mic is still cutting out a little.
Oh.
It was great during the Raw segment, but now it's a little, I don't know.
Weird. I just changed angles. Okay, wait.
Budget and quality goes down for NXT.
No.
It does not. What we're not
That's
gonna do is
messed up.
that. We're not gonna do that.
But yeah, that's it. Yeah, just let Julia go in one favor for Dom, tag team together, and that's it.
Next, we had Kalani Jordan backstage with Robert Stone and Stevie Turner. She says she has to compete against the best, and she tells Ava she wants Julia in an Iron Survivor qualifier match next week. I understand wanting to prove that you're a good wrestler. I think that's a bad decision. And I think, obviously, from a booking perspective, unfortunately for Kalani Jordan, who literally just had the NXT Women's or the NXT Women's North American Championship, I can talk eventually, to her, then lose to Julia basically 2 weeks later, or a month later is all right. It is what it is. It's kind of cooling her down a little bit, which I'm not necessarily, but she can't beat Julia, so I don't know. It was a little odd to me, but okay. We had Stephanie Vicaire versus Jada Parker in a women's Iron Survivor elimination match or Iron Survivor qualifier match. I thought this was great. I thought this was a great match to open the show. The NXT is doing really good with women at the moment, and as well they should. I mean, they have Julia, they have Stephanie, they have Zarya, and they're leaning into it. I mean, everything right now is basically focused around the women in some regards. They're opening the shows, they're closing the shows, and I'm here for it. I think it's all great. Sorry. My nose is just running like crazy. My allergies are kicking my ass. So I'm here for this, and I thought Jada Parker looked really, really good against a woman that's considered one of the best in the world. Now, is that because Stephanie, can have a good match with anybody, or is Jada Parker actually getting better and did good? I think it's both. I mean, I think Stephanie's a really good wrestler and can make make somebody else look good. At the same time, I think Jada Parker looked really good. She seemed to hold her own. So I thought this was very good. I was very pleased with this and with Jada's development. OTM and she's with them because she comes out to their theme song. They don't do anything. So give her her own identity. Let's give her her own theme music. Let's give her her own identity. Get her away from OTM, or start giving them something as a trio or them as a tag team so that you can get her more TV time too and make the connection feel more like there's a reason for it. At this point, she is OTM because they don't do anything and it doesn't make any sense. Just give her something on her own. Let her have her own intro song and her own intro package. And I mean, I think she's really good. Stephanie got the win, as she should probably, and she's going on to the Iron Survivor match. So, what y'all think of this?
Totally agree with you. We knew she was good because her and Little Vice were having banger matches. This really was a what you call a sneaker swim. It's like, all right, we're gonna give you one of our big stars. Let's see how you go with her. And she wins. I love this. To the point where it's like, can't you be Stephanie? I'm not really mad about that. If you let her do that, please. I'm like, okay,
we lost you again a little.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Is it really Nate? Wait. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that was better.
All right. Yeah, to the point of saying, hey, if you let her, maybe through interference, let her beat Stephanie, I'm here for it. I was there. That's where I was at. But unfortunately, the flip side of it was Lola Vice came out and interrupted Jada. It's like, get your Latino behind the back. Why are you doing that? I'm fully behind Jada Parker. But I understand Stephanie is better right now, but very happy that Jada held her own. It's like, I love, like, you can tell, like, with Jada, Shakara Jackson, Lash Legend, like, okay, they're actually good. Like, you really don't know we're fighting the same people, but it's like, now you're fighting professionals who's doing this way longer than you have. It's like, oh, okay, y'all are actually good. We can actually use y'all in more matches. I'm proud of the girl. But I understand it is Stephanie Vicaire. She has to.
Tammy, anything you want to say for there? I don't know if he's there or not, but He might not be there. Let's see. Oh, there he is. Okay. What was I going to say? Like Anika said, Lola Vice did ultimately come out and I guess cost Jada Parker the match to a certain extent. Stephanie was going to win anyhow. But here's my thing about that. Even though I rail a lot and talk about, and I don't necessarily like matches being interrupted or people coming in, and we've been having a lot of that. It feels like more than normal over the last few months. But in this situation, I'm not mad at it because if Jada Parker's going to take the loss here and not go on to the Iron Survivor match, I want her to do something. And Lola Vice is solid and really good, and I think they could have a good feud separate from the Iron Survivor stuff. So I'm here for that. I think that's fun. So that's why I'm not necessarily opposed to this. So you don't need to do anything to help Stephanie win. So in that regard, it's a little but okay. I mean, I don't think it makes her look weak at all. I think it really just fuels the feud between Lola and Jada. But when you have someone that is supposed to be one of the best women in the world, and then you do something where it looks like she might have needed help or used help to get a win, does that diminish the aura a little? I mean, I don't know. But it's only one time, and it wasn't necessarily like she was there to help Stephanie per se. So I think it works out.
Yeah, no. Like, this was truly not her needing help. It was more so Jada took her eye off the ball. And I'm here for that. I'm like it wasn't like she needed help, which just took you off balls. You can't do that with Stephanie Kerr. You can't do that with certain people. Stephanie Kerr is definitely one of them.
So next we had a segment of the NXT storyline creative that I hate. We had Dion Williams backstage with Brindley Reese, and they're getting ready for their intergender tag team match against Carmen Petrovich and Ashanti the Adonis, which is further on this storyline about Ashanti as a player and Dion is, I guess, not, or whatever. I don't even know what the storyline ultimately is here, but they've picked sides. Brindley is with Dion. They shout out Oklahoma State University, Go Sooners, which was always JR's team, Boomer Sooner.
Right.
Anything you want to say about Dion and Brindley?
Glad to have the match. Hopefully it's the end of this program. You know, it's like, all right, we have the match. It's the end, right? It's the end. We can all go our different ways. Like I said, for I don't say filler, but in the meantime, between time, is another story for you? Sure, this was fine.
Earlier in the day, Roxy posted a video from the beach where she was taking a day off and wishes the Iron Survivor qualifiers luck. The winner gets a chance at her, but it doesn't matter because she's going to win. And then Sol Ruka shows up and tells her to enjoy the day because she'll see her after deadline, as Sol Ruka has already qualified for the Iron Survivor match. What do you think of this little Roxy on the beach and Sol Ruka ruining her little promo, little photo bomb ruining her promo?
This was cute, and actually a nice like this is obviously, but not so obvious surprise. But just like it's like, yeah, she's surfing. It makes sense. Just like it's like, hey, what you doing? Yeah, I really enjoy this because I'm coming at you. But yeah, it's gonna be. It's fine. It's like, yeah, this was cute. This was cute and adorably fun.
Next, we had Tony D versus Brooks Jensen with Sean Spears. My question is, what was Sean Spears wearing? Like, why does it look like that jacket was like a combination between a jacket and a dress? Like, I don't know what the hell it was that he was wearing. But
rose-like something? Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Needless to say, for only being 5 minutes or even less than 5 minutes, I thought Brooks Jensen actually looked good here. They gave Brooks Jensen a fair amount of offense. I thought at the end, it almost looks like Brooks Jensen was going to get the win. And then Tony D finally got the spine buster for the win and got the pin. So you wouldn't think in a 5-minute match and Brooks Jensen would have an opportunity to look that good, especially against the Dawn of NXT. But I thought he did, and I like this Brooks Jensen with Sean Spears. That being said, I almost wonder if they haven't missed the boat a little because I think both of these guys might be really good with the D'Angelo family. Like, I think Sean Spears would be kind of cool with the D'Angelo family. Okay, so I don't have a problem with Stacks and Crucifino, but really they don't move the needle for me at all. I'd much rather see. I think Brooks Jensen and Sean Spears would be much funner in those roles than Stacks and Crucifino. I'm not saying that they should replace them. I'm just saying if I'm looking at them, I think they would be fun. I think they'd be funner, and I wouldn't mind seeing them, as part of the family. I think that would work out. It'd give Jensen a little more focus, I think, and something to do. He's kind of the odd man out, maybe a little bit, but at the same time, I thought Spears looked like he belonged with the D'Angelo family last night on NXT this week. So, but I thought this match was good. I thought it was a solid outing for Brooks Jensen. Tony D looked good in ultimately getting a win over, what looked like a solid opponent. And I like what they're doing with Brooks Jensen overall. So, what do you think of this?
Again, I'm with you on everything. Jensen with the Don family is a very big stretch. I'm not saying everybody got to be Italian, but you do have some kind. You do have to have some kind of slider, and Jensen didn't have that just yet. So he's like, hold up, maybe definitely Sean Spears, but maybe not so much Brooks Jensen at this thing. But this was good. And Sean Spears and Jensen together, I'm willing to let it play out. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna see where y'all take this. Let's see where it goes. I'm not opposed to it, but yeah, this was fun. This was good, and of course, Tony D winning is always a good time.
I was a little surprised that they got away with the chop block, Brooks chop blocking Tony at the end. Like, I thought the D'Angelo family would have been there a little bit more to protect him, but it is what it is. So a little bit of post-match, whatever. I imagine this isn't the end of this. I imagine that we're getting Sean Spears and Brooks Jensen feuding with the family for a little bit here. So that being said, if the ultimate payoff is Sean Spears in the ring versus Tony D'Angelo, that I'm here for.
Right.
I don't know that I necessarily. I mean, even though I thought Brooks Jensen looked fine, I don't know that I need to see Brooks Jensen versus Tony D'Angelo again. And Brooks Jensen versus Luca or Stacks doesn't really do anything for me. Unfortunately, Luca or Stacks against anybody doesn't really do a whole lot for me. I don't mind them necessarily as henchmen. They're fine as long as they're not really doing anything. I don't know. As long as they stay in their lane, I'm fine with it. So let's see. Then we had Carmen and Ashante backstage doing the second part of this lead up to this intergender match. These two are talking about how they're going to go out and beat up Dion and Brindley. And they have a little moment where they look at each other like, ooh. And then they say, okay, let's get back to the match. So I guess maybe they're going to be something in the future. I don't know. I sure hope that, like Anika said, after this match, which I think comes next, it does, after Alexis King segment, I hope this is the end of this and they decide to do something different with these competitors. I don't know what that is, but Ashante, first of all, is a very solid wrestler and deserves a better program on NXT. He deserves better than this. And Carmen and Brindley are what they are. I know it's developmental and you're trying to, it's not only developmental for the people they're learning, but I think to a certain extent, it's also developmental for storylines. Like they throw stuff at the walls just to kind of see what can work. This isn't the main roster. Let's try some things and see if it works and whatever. And maybe this is something that Ashante pitched. Maybe this is something that Dion pitched. Maybe this is what they want to do. I don't think it's working if they pitched it, but maybe they've pitched it and they're letting them try and see if they're working it out. It is a developmental show, so I get it. At the same time, I'm not here for it. I don't really like it, but it is what it is. Anything you want to say about these two backstage before we talk about the match?
All right, so not sure what old boy's name is, but he murdered Grayson Waller. I'm like, is this Grayson Waller's brother? I'm like, wait, hold up, wait. The people who were in the Cougar t-shirts getting warmed up, it was 3 couples. I'm not sure who I'm talking about, but the one dude, he had top fade, and he looked like freaking Grayson Waller. I'm like, okay, I need you to change something about yourself because I thought Grayson Waller came out the NXT, but like you said, all in all, I just need for Adonis, even though you do need a character so you don't get mixed up in crowds. I need you more so to wrestle more. I know you're good in the ring, so wrestle more, and I think the character will come to you later. It's my advice. But this was, it's fine.
Lexus King is backstage talking about how he didn't get off to the best start, but he's trying to be the best Lexus King can be. Whatchamacallit, Josh Briggs. Let's see. Josh Briggs comes in and asks, trying to remember exactly what he said.
Even more, yeah.
Say that again? You're breaking up again a little, so I can. He comes in and asks what that was about and doesn't know. But he says he doesn't know, but NXT's crazy. And we see the tag teams brawling again backstage. This Lexus King thing is ongoing. I mean, he revealed he was talking to Inamura, and Inamura gives him a thumbs up. I'm not familiar with Inamura, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't necessarily do anything for me or move the needle per se. Josh Briggs, I do, and I don't know. I'm not necessarily opposed to Josh Briggs versus Lexus King. That I can see. I think would be fun because neither of them are really doing a whole lot. I mean, they're putting Lexus King on TV, but he's not doing a whole lot. And Josh Briggs hasn't done much anything, and I love Josh Briggs. So, especially since Brooks Jensen is now with Sean Spears, it feels like they had Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen decided to go with Brooks Jensen instead of Josh Briggs to a certain extent, and I'm not totally sure why.
Yeah.
I almost would rather see Josh Briggs with Sean Spears than Brooks Jensen. That being said, Brooks Jensen's been doing fine. I prefer Josh Briggs, so it is what it is. Anything you want to say, Sammy? That you're back about Lexus King's segment?
I think that they've been doing pretty well with the group. They could definitely be doing more with Josh Briggs, but like all the people from that faction, like they've been taken pretty good care of. There's the one chick though, the one with the purse who got sent to Raw. Like, not sure what happened.
Oh,
the porn accountant. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget what was her name. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank on her name now.
Yeah,
Kiana James. There you go.
But I was like, why are you sending her to the main roster? And now she's not even on the main roster. And it's like,
look, I honestly want to know who real life made the decision of the draft last time, because you had Kiana James, you had Lyra, and you did draft Dijak. And so I'm like, okay, Dijak, I kind of get Lyra is Becky's friend. But Kiana, I want to know who chose Kiana James. I'm sorry, but I realize I need to know that, because I think Triple H is smart enough to know when someone's ready. And you can't tell me he thought that Kiana James was ready. You can't tell me he did. I'm sorry. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah,
she had that backstage segment with I'm spacing out his name now. The general manager, Adam Pearce, yeah.
Yeah.
And she used a word, and I was just like, that word doesn't mean what you think it means.
But yeah, no, I totally agree with you that they have been taking care of people in the country group pretty well. And the whole custody of who gets Lexus King, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to it, especially now that Lexus King looks less like a douche. I'm like, all right, okay. I'll see where this rides. I'll see where it goes.
I don't feel like he fits with Gallus.
Don't feel Gallus. If I had to choose, I would choose Brooke Jensen's boy. But I don't want it with him either. So we'll see where it goes.
Next, we had the match that brought the whole show down, unfortunately. I know it's only filler and you got to have stuff, but Brindley Reese and Dion Lewis versus Ashanti Adonis and Carmen Petrovich. Carmen and Ashanti got the win a little over. Thankfully, it was only like 3.5 minutes. This was bad. I thought it was way too rushed. It looked clunky. I thought it came off bad. I didn't think anybody looked good here, which is unfortunate because Ashante's a good wrestler. I don't know anything about Deion Lennox. I don't really, and I've only seen Carmen and Brindley on NXT, and they haven't had a whole lot. Carmen's had more time in the ring than Brindley, but neither of them has had a whole lot of time. So the only one I'm really familiar with is Ashante, and he's a solid wrestler, and he even looked bad. So this was really bad, unfortunately. And this brings the show down. It brought the show down a whole grade for me because they made it a big segment. They had 2 vignettes backstage, and then they had the match, and it's like that's putting a lot on something that's really, really bad. So, what do you guys think?
This was a developmental part of NXT. This was developmental, like, all right, this is your time to shine. Let's see how you're on the ring. All right, you're not very good, but at least we know now. At least we know now. We have work to do. We'll do it later. We'll do the work later.
Like,
I don't care.
but it definitely feels like from the beginning of the show, it just has been spiraling down.
Yeah,
You mean
I
the
would
whole
agree
show?
with that. Yeah, the opening match was really solid, and then I would kind of agree with that. The rest of it kind of was a little down after that. We'll continue through. We'll see if it picks up at the end, but I think that's a fair assessment.
We'll
we had
see,
Ridge with
because moves change evidently when we talk about the shows.
Ridge is backstage with Sarah Schreiber and asked if we enjoyed the trip down Chase U Lane. He says he took them all out, and Chase has more guts than brains. After tonight, he and Duke and Riley will be floundering without a father figure to hold them down. He says Chase made the wrong gamble, and he's going to deadline, and Chase U is going to die. What y'all think of this Ridge Holland packet or promo?
I don't like you. I don't like you saying all these words. So bye.
It's a fine promo. Ridge isn't somebody who I'd put on the mic, though.
Yep.
I mean, for what it was fine. I mean, he's got, he's not the worst promo I've ever seen, or ever heard, but at the same time, it's definitely not great. This is developmental, and he's working on this, so I get that. And it wasn't terrible, but it definitely wasn't. It wasn't great either. I mean, he definitely said too many words, but it is what it is. Then we get a vignette highlighting the Iron Survivor Challenge, leading into our next NXT Iron Survivor qualifier match between Ren Sinclair and Zarya. Zarya gets the win in a little over 4 minutes. I thought this match, and it probably shouldn't, because Ren Sinclair is not Jada Parker, but if you're comparing so far the 2 women's Iron qualifier matches, the first one with Stephanie and Jada was really, really good, and this one paled a lot in comparison, unfortunately. Ren's just not Jada Parker. Zarya looked good. And I thought this did a good job of making her look very strong and dominant, which is clearly the role they want her to be in, which is fine. And she moves on to the Iron Survivor Challenge. So what did y'all think of this?
This was a Zarya squash match, and it should be. Zarya is in that position of, look, I'm a dominant person on NXT. So I didn't need her opponent to have offense. No offense. I'm like, you cool. I appreciate that. You need that, but I don't need that from me right now. I need old girl to be dominant, and she was. So that aspect, I'm all here for it.
My question becomes, the Iron Survivors match is supposed to be a big deal. The winner gets a shot at Roxanne Perez. Jada Parker versus Stephanie is a perfect qualifier match. I thought it worked out great. I don't think you should be having squash qualifier matches. I mean, that implies that Ren Sinclair doesn't have any opportunity to really make it. So why is she in a qualifier match? Like, that doesn't. You clearly don't think she's going to qualify. You had her squashed out, so why even be in that match? At least have Zarya have a match that makes sense. That if she lost, the person that could win or was in the match with her would make sense to be in the Iron Survivor Challenge match, which Ren Sinclair does not. So
I was literally like, who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, Fatal Influence is backstage. Tony D is in the medical room and is angry. He tells Ava that he wants Shawn Spears next week. Eddie Thorpe walks up and says the tag team chaos cost him. Ava says if Tony gets cleared, he can have his rematch. She tells Eddie there's nothing she can do about his match, and he's pissed. Anything you guys want to say about this little segment?
Yes.
All right. Fatal Influence is in the ring. JC says that they knew NXT had the strongest women's division before anyone else and have always been ahead of the curve, and they were going to make sure they were on top. Fallon continues to talk. Blah, 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 blah. Jasmine starts
I wanted to
talking.
make a dirty joke
Jasmine
out
says,
of myself.
Jasmine says they need to shut Kalani Jordan up. And Fallon says she plans to be a fighting champion and throws out an open challenge for next week. And it's next week because they need time to find an opponent. But here is Metaphor. And Lash says if there's going to be an open challenge next week, the Meta Girls will have a piece of that. JC and Jasmine are in the ring. Nikita walks out, says that Lash had her chance at Golden Crown Jewel, and says she'll see Fallon next week. Rizzo attacks Lyons. It turns into a big locker room clearing ball. Fallon's left in the ring. Tatum Paxley walks up behind her. Psycho Blade, and she poises with her. She stands with the title over Fallon Henley. What'd y'all think of this? Do you care at all? Is this doing anything for you with this NXT Women's North American title division?
It's crazy to say this, and y'all said before when they introduced the Women's North American Championship, y'all said Fallon Henley should be the first champion, right? This actually kind of proves y'all right, because I like, no offense, Kalani Jordan was a great wrestler, but with Fallon, I'm more invested of who's gonna beat her behind. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, so who's the next person gonna beat her behind? So I am more invested in the title. This was cool. This little squabble. Who comes next?
So you're a fan of Cowgirl Mandy Rose?
No, I'm not a fan. I'm just saying. What you call it? I think I'm more invested in who beats her behind. Yes, I'll say that. If who's gonna beat Fallon Henley, I am more invested. I will say that.
If we're just talking about Kalani Jordan and Fallon Henley, just those two, and we're comparing them, I like Kalani Jordan better, but I do think Fallon Henley is a little bit more developed, I think, and I think that she's got a little bit more outgoing personality.
Yeah.
And I think I think she's doing a little bit better with the title, even though she hasn't done anything, than Kalani Jordan did. And I think some of that's, even though I don't like Fatal Influence, I think some of that's because she's a part of Fatal Influence, and Fatal Influence gives them, has a lot of time on NXT. So I think it kind of makes that title, I don't know, whatever. I don't like Metaphor, but I do like Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. So I was happy to see Lash Legend here. I don't like Nikita Lyons. I don't necessarily care for her here.
No.
And Rizzo is what it is. She's kind of a throwaway to all this. Paxley and Paxley, I think, it's interesting. I mean, all these mid-card women have a little bit of, interesting things to them other than Nikita Lyons for me. So I'm here for it. I thought they did it well for what they're doing here. I thought it came off okay.
Yeah. Like sometimes for me, sorry, brain fart. Let me just say it. I do love wrestling, right? But I do need to be invested of why I want to see you beat her behind. And with Kalani Jordan, if your personality is you're a good wrestler, you have to be a great wrestler for me to be invested in you. Kalani was cool, but she wasn't that great. You know what I'm saying? Yet. I'll say yet, right? It's like, yeah, she's cool in the ring, nice to look at. I'm not like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she did X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? So to that extent, I'm like, with Fallon, I'm like, who's gonna beat you behind? Like you said, when Lash Legend of Chicago came out, like, I wouldn't mind if they beat your behind. Yes, it's like so that little perk up is what's needed for this title.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I think that's all well said and true. So let's see. I'm a little confused, and I was a little confused at the time. So this earlier, it was Brooks Jensen versus Tony D. Tony D was pissed.
Yes.
He said he wanted Shawn Spears. Ava said he gets his rematch, but isn't that against Brooks Jensen? So next week, Brooks Jensen gets a shot at Tony's title. I'm not totally sure I understand the thought process because here they are backstage, and that Spears says that's exactly what he wanted, and Nico walks in and says, "You got a title match set for next week." I'm assuming that's Brooks Jensen versus Tony D. And I don't know that I need to see that again and see Tony D beat him again quickly. But I guess it is what it is. I like I said, I'm here for Shawn Spears versus Tony D, which is it sounded like what Tony D wants, but the way Ava said you get your rematch, I don't think we've had a match between Tony D and Shawn Spears. It wouldn't be
I
a
think we did.
rematch. What?
I think we did have a match with Tony D and Shawn Spears. Don't quote me on it, but I think we did.
I don't remember that. If it did,
Even
when
if,
was that?
I think it was months ago. Wait, Shawn.
Okay, maybe. I mean, I don't remember that. That being said, my memory's terrible. So I mean, I'll take your
Let
word
me
and
just
definitely,
see.
obviously, the internet's word if you find it. Yeah.
That was 2 days ago.
Meanwhile, they walk off, and here we go with the
Yeah.
third, now it's the fourth segment. So we had Brindley and Dion backstage first, and then we had Ashante and
Right.
Carmen backstage. Then we had the match, and now we have Ashante and Carmen again, saying they did a good job together. Let's see. Ashante says outside the ring as well. They get all up close, and then Nikita walks in, saying that she's waiting for a text back, and Carmen's all pissy because she thinks Ashante texted Nikita and he didn't. So
did.
this is now
Being a
our
punk.
fourth part of this terrible storyline. I don't understand why they continue to push this.
What I was gonna say, when I saw this, it feels like they're gonna break old girl and Adonis up. Or like, all right, so at least what you call it, this is over, right? That's what I got from the segment. It's over because your whole attention wasn't on me. You was texting other chicks. So yes, be done with it. Be over. Move on.
Yeah, I mean, they just need to do something totally different. I don't have a problem with love stories and knowing people are married and people getting all those kind of things, but this is bad storytelling when it comes to that. So they just need to move on from this in general. We have another vignette for the Iron Survivor Challenge. Then the spotlight is on Ethan Page. He says he's excited about the Iron Survivor Challenge. He's going to win and get his shot. He sees the angles, picks his moments and spots. It doesn't matter when he enters because he will win. All he needs to do is qualify next week. What do you think of Ethan Page's promo? Do you think he should win and be in the Iron Survivor Challenge match?
I'm not mad at it. Not mad at it at all. I think he definitely should not go against Trick Williams anytime soon. So if this is your meantime in between time, I'm here for it. Yeah, let him be in the Iron Survivor that match.
Okay, so there's about to be some clarification. Let's see, Nathan in a minute here. Nathan Frazier says he'd be interested, or says it would be interesting if he qualified, but Axiom says he won't because he's the opponent. Frazier's shocked and says, "Axiom, what's that?
What's
Did I
happening?
miss something?" Okay. Frazier and Axiom are talking about it. Axiom says it won't be because he's the opponent. Frazier's shocked, and Axiom says Frazier didn't seem worried about the tag teams. Frazier says he's excited. How did they end up in the match together? Let's see. One more Chase U segment. Chase says it's the biggest match in his career and puts things in perspective. Chase has never been conventional. and he would like to apologize for being hard on them for absolutely nothing. There's two things certain in life. He's going to give Ridge Holland an Andre Chase-sized ass whooping, and he says he's on his way to NXT Deadline. Anything
Listen.
about this segment?
Listen. So because we know the end result, right? This is basically a goodbye letter. And unfortunately, and thinking about the past of Chase U and him cussing people out was probably my favorite part. It was probably like you did it too much where it wasn't special. But every time he did it, it was funny as heck. Probably the first time he ever did it was with what's his name? Somebody was doing a promo, and I'm not even sure if he was supposed to walk through or not. We were like, this is BS. That was a bad call. And they both was like, and the people who were arguing was like, did he just walk up in here? And like, so that was the best part. Then they showed another one where he cuts the little boy and threw a basketball. It's like, why do you have a basketball in your classroom? So yeah, those are probably the best parts of Chase U that wasn't a match on Premium Live event.
I don't think anybody in the history of NXT has sworn as much as Andre Chase has.
Shut up. I don't think no, not even yeah.
So this was the main event. Or sorry, going into the main event, it's Ridge Holland versus Andre Chase for a number one contender and a match with Trick Williams. Ultimately, Ridge Holland did get the win in a little over 11 minutes. I thought it was a solid match. It's developmental, so I guess it is what it is. And this is, this is a big deal because the winner is a number one contender for your NXT World Championship. That being said, if Ridge Holland and Chase U are never in the main event again of NXT, I don't have a problem with that. So, I thought this was a little underwhelming for a main event. The match itself was okay. I just didn't, I figured that Ridge was going to get the win. I mean, not that Ridge versus Trick is any better, but Andre Chase versus Trick really does nothing for me. So I feel like at least, God, this is horrible. I feel like at least Ridge has a fighting chance that Andre Chase doesn't have. I don't know if I'm giving him a percentage. I think Chase or Ridge has like a maybe 15 or 20% chance, and Andre Chase had like a 10% chance of beating Trick. So I mean, I guess it makes it a little more interesting. But that being said, I thought the match itself wasn't terrible. I mean, I thought it came off okay. The in-ring work wasn't horrible, which is saying a lot because Ridge sometimes leaves a little to be desired when it comes to actual in-ring work. And Andre Chase is what he is. He's not a bad worker, but he's definitely not, a premier worker. So, it is what it is. I mean, this is one of your, I guess, bigger storylines because it intertwines with the NXT World Championship. So I guess it makes some sense to be in the main event. I mean, what do you guys think? I was underwhelmed by this show in general.
So, this match, the stip was the stip. This was a very, what you call it? This was a catch-22 stipulation of, I get why you did it, because I think in this match, we all thought that Ridge was going to win. But the doubt was enough because why you real life going to get rid of Chase U? It's like, I think that was more so, that was enough. It's like, because no offense, I don't want to see any of these guys by themselves. The girl, I'm gonna screw up her name, so that's why I said the girl. The girl probably has the best shot as a solo person without anybody, but I think they're better together. In my mind, I'm trying to create loopholes. Like, all right, so it's not Chase U University, it's Chase U Community College. And not sure how I feel about this just yet. Are they going to call up Chase U? This, like, I think, because, like, in my mind, okay, is this Andre Chase and Chase U swan song? And if so, Look, I know we like Raw for 2 hours, but this is kind of detrimental to Raw not being 3. If Raw was 3 hours, I'll be like, yes, gun ho. This will be some great, hilarious segments on Raw, but Raw's only 2 hours, so I'm like, not yet. So to that, I had some doubt, but
And also, when it comes to comedy, like Raw is kind of stacked already. Right? SmackDown's the one that kind of doesn't have as much humor.
yes and no, because
Like,
comedy
what's the
wise,
funniest on SmackDown? Like, Pretty Deadly?
yes, with the musical.
They're the funniest
Chelsea,
members of
wait,
SmackDown.
no. Chelsea Green is the funniest thing on SmackDown. So yeah, so I say that. So I say to say, very surprised that they got rid of Chase U. Not surprised that Rich won, but surprised they got rid of Chase U. And I did love, what's his name? Howard. What's his name? The big dude. That's Australian.
Yeah, Duke Hudson.
Duke Hudson. That was a nice little segment where they actually ref bump. We gotta fight to keep people together. That was nice little breakdown.
Or as CM refers to him, generic wrestler number 5.
That's what I would prefer to him.
Andre Chase looks at his students, and the Chase U section is sad as the NXT audience yells, chants na 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 na. Hey, hey,
Why would
hey,
my people are so ruthless. They're so freaking ruthless. That wasn't even necessary. But you did.
So here's my thoughts.
Seriously
nobody,
though, like they should have done like a thank you, Chase. Thank you, Chase.
At least one good time. I had a good time. If this is truly the end, I had a good time with Chase U.
So I have a little bit different perspective. I never cared for Chase U. I could have taken him or leaving him at any time. For that, I think NXT probably. I know it's developmental, but at some point, you do decide yay or nay on people. I have a feeling Riley Osborne and Duke Hudson aren't long for anything in WWE, probably. We'll see about Thea Hale. There is nobody in Chase U that should be sniffing anywhere near the main roster. That includes Andre Chase himself. Chase U, even if Raw was 3 hours, doesn't belong on Raw. I'm here for just dismantling them in general. I was never a fan. I don't know what that means for Andre Chase going on. I think Thea Hale can maybe work herself a spot potentially, but the other ones, like I said, Riley Osborne and Duke Hudson, I don't think they're long for WWE. I'd be surprised if they're around a lot longer. And I don't know. We'll have to see what ends up happening with Andre Chase. But I didn't have a problem with any of this. I don't think Chase U, and I would argue that. I would debate how comedic they even are. They never made me laugh. I guess they were kind of a comedy act or faction, and a lot of what they did, I suppose, was supposed to be funny. They never made me laugh. So, as far as putting them to the main roster to give comedy, to add levity to a show, like that doesn't work for me. Chase U doesn't do that. So for me, so I don't know.
You said work herself a spot.
So that was the.
My brain was like, huh? And I was like, oh, normal sentence. He's not using wrestling terminology for working spot.
Oh, no, yeah, no. No, she can work herself. She might be able to make a niche for herself. She has a lot of personality. She's extremely lively and upbeat, when she's playing that role. And she's fun, I think, and she wrestles well. So I think she could, potentially, make a spot for herself or, a little lane for herself.
Yeah. I'm so used to work and spot meaning something different.
No doubt. At the same time, I also don't know that I see anything that I would call unique per se about her or anything that necessarily stands out enough to make me think that she would necessarily, be at the top of any women's division. She could be a solid mid-card hand, I think, somewhere, but other than that,
better to work yourself into a spot than to work yourself into a shoot.
That's right. For me, this was a down episode of NXT, and NXT's been really good. So I gave this a C. I thought this was a C this week. What about you guys?
A C.
the wrestling, they had more wrestling, and the wrestling was great. I love Nathan versus oh boy, Thorpe. I love
Yep.
Jada versus Stephanie Kerr. But like you said, I think what Sammy said after that second hour was like, eh.
Yeah,
one of those matches should have been second hour. That shouldn't have been the first. That should not have been the first 30 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, the Tony G. Brooks Jensen squash, the terrible 4 Ashante and Dion, four segments with that terrible storyline and the bad match, and then the fact that the main event is what it was. I mean, it's okay. Ridge Holland and Andre Chase aren't main eventers for me, even on a developmental show. I don't know.
And the Julia promo, which was better than I expected it to be, also happened in the beginning of the show. Like everything good happened in the first 30 minutes.
No, you're right. No, I think you're absolutely right. So yeah,
and for the first time I think ever, it's unanimous. I'm giving it a C.
All right. So this week, Raw beats NXT, and now we'll switch gears, and Anika will take over and talk about.
We're switching gear, but it's not full gear yet.
But make sure and join us back here tonight for Full Gear live 5 p.m. We're not going to do 0 hours, so we'll be here when the card starts at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. But come back.
You're gonna miss a great match.
I know. It's just too long. It's just too long.
I'm being sarcastic. I'm gonna get to it.
All right, so let's crack open Dynamite, Miss Anika.
All right, Dynamite, baby. So Dynamite from last Wednesday, November, whatever.
It's only on the screen. It's okay.
Well, I can't. No, okay. So on my screen, we're not all together. I have to literally scroll up to see my face with you guys. And so,
okay.
So the 20th.
It was the 20th.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Dynamite on the 20th. All right. But yeah, so we start Full Gear with a Full Gear review of who's on the card. So if you have not watched Collision, they ended Collision with a preview of Full Gear using the song November Rain. This was probably one of their longer video packages. I'm not sure if I hate it or like it, but don't know the song. It was fine, yeah, so the video package was what it was. But let's get to the first match of the night. We are having a good old multi-man tag. So we have Ospreay and Will Hobbs and Ricochet and Mark Davis versus the conglomerate, the Don. Yeah, this is mostly the Don family. Yeah, Kyle Fletcher, Takeshita, Lance Archer, and Brian Cage. Listen.
Is Brian Cage part of the Don Callis family or not?
He is. Him and
so
Lance Archer.
It's all Don Callis family.
It's all Don. Yeah, I was very agree, but yes, it's all Don Callis family versus this makeshift ragtag group of Ospreay, Mark Davis, Ricochet, and Powerhouse. All right. So, what I was saying was, some people. I know people need breaks, but some people just make the show. And for me, Will Ospreay makes the show, especially when he wrestles. Like, this was a breath of, oh, I did miss you. I'm glad you're back, Boo-Boo. I don't know why you were gone, but I'm glad you're back. Please don't leave me anytime soon.
So is Ricochet and Powerhouse Hobbs a tag team now?
They're not a tag team. They're just cool with each other. And I don't need them to be a tag team because I made this joke that that WWE AEW do a swap where AEW gets Ricochet and WWE gets Ricky Starks. I don't want it to be a thing though. I don't want it to be a thing. But right now, no, they're not a tag team.
A solid tag team though. Like they really kind of complete each other. Like.
The only thing about that is it's too close to what him and Ricochet were doing, and I don't want that to be a thing with Rick. Thing with him and Ricky Starks.
The charisma, the promo, like with Ricochet, you get the high flying athleticism, so it feels different to me.
Not different enough. So I would just say let them just be cool with each other. Let them just be cool with each other. If you need a tag team, I'm here. But no,
does
don't
Ricky
let them be
Starks
a team.
do 450 splashes?
Not for he splashes, but he wasn't out scrubbing a ring. Let's be very clear about that.
Well, no, but like he's like technical, not acrobatic.
Why is he not on my TV? Where has he been? What is he doing?
So let's call a spade a spade. AEW Ricochet. I'm sorry. AEW. I'm sorry. I don't mean to do that. AEW and Ricky Starks are basically done. He's basically running out his contract. The last thing I heard was Ricky Starks is going to do some indie shows.
Right. Well, that's unfortunate because I mean I love Ricky and I love seeing him on my big screen on a main, being a big part of a main promotion. I mean, I kind of hope
Give
he
it
ends
half
up
a
with.
year, he'll be making his NXT debut.
I was just gonna say, I mean, I kind of hope he ends up with WWE just because I love him so much. At the same time,
if you think Cody's gonna let him dwaddle in the indies, like no.
I don't think so. No.
Cody's calling his boy out.
Well, he's still under contract though. So I'm not sure what the contract say, but
that's why I said half
I
a
think
year.
He's too talented. It'll just be interesting to see if WWE can use him correctly.
Right? I think NXT can. I don't know about the main roster though.
This is true. Yeah. But yeah, this match was great. I love and then Ospreay is my dude. Will always love him watching on my screen. I love that they attacked Powerhouse Hobbs in the beginning, so it was essentially 3-4 for the majority of the match, and then Powerhouse, your big old meaty man, you with a hot tag. It's like, sir, you're on one leg, and you are a powerhouse. You used to be having a hot tag, but it was so freaking good. So
one of my favorite things is that like when we started this podcast and like me and ALW were like praising the glory that is Will Ospreay, saying he's the best wrestler in the world and like all of his matches are great, and then Anika being like, I don't know who that guy is, and now like Anika's a bigger fan of him than we are.
Listen, it's all about presentation. It's all about presentation. Him in that gorgeous green robe. It's like, oh, okay.
As soon as you saw him, you immediately was like, oh, it clicks. Yeah, okay.
No, in the green, let's be very clear. In the green robe, not the white shirt and freaking sweatpants. Like he's coming to a cookout the first time he was on freaking Dynamite. Let's go. Anyway, but this unfortunately ended. Ospreay did the hidden blade and accidentally hit Mark Davis. And Don Callis family is here for the win. I'm hoping this does not go into Mark Davis believing Kyle Fletcher and joining the Don Callis family. Sir, you know what the hidden blade does. You know it was a mistake. So let's not make this decision off of one hit. Please. But any more what you want to say about the match?
I thought the match itself was really good. I thought it was solid. I enjoyed it a lot. I do think that what you're saying is true. I do think the reason that they had Will Ospreay hit Mark Davis is because ultimately Mark Davis is probably going to join the Callis family. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about Mark Davis before Aussie Open. I didn't know anything about Kyle Fletcher before Aussie Open. I've seen Kyle Fletcher now as a singles wrestler while Mark Davis was out, and Kyle's really, really good and made a name for himself. I don't know about Mark Davis at this point.
Yeah.
The jury's out. As far as I'm concerned, he works best with Kyle Fletcher in a tag team, and if that's what they're going to do, might as well do it for the Callis family. I mean, they were always heels anyhow, so it fits to a certain extent. And so, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'd kind of like to see what Mark Davis can do on his own because I have no idea.
And it's also a nice way for the Callis family to get a big win over guys like Will Ospreay. And
this is true.
Like Ricochet, and they get an additional member to it. The only thing that's bugging me is what happened to Powerhouse Hobbs, because he was part of the Don Callis family. Like,
so
explain.
Real life, he got hurt. Real life, yeah. Felt like it was either spring or definitely last year. But real life, he got hurt, and of course, when you get hurt, either you call me or you don't. And evidently, the Don Callis family didn't call Hobbs. You just replaced me with Lance Archer and Brian Cage and whoever the frick you wanted to replace me with. So to
I think
that,
that's
yes.
basically the storyline. Is just that Dawn was like, "Well, you're not around, so I'm replacing you." I mean, and Hobbs was like, "Well, fuck you then." So, and that's basically where we're at the moment with Hobbs and Callis. So,
Okay.
you know, these 8 men in the ring, unfortunately, and that's taking nothing away from him because I do like him. One of these things is not like the other. Powerhouse Hobbs doesn't really fit with 7
Yeah.
pretty technical, kind of faster paced guys that really, work it kind of a second and third gear. That being said, I like Hobbs, and I don't have any problem with him. And I
Now that
thought
you
he
mention that,
did
that's the
okay.
thing I forget about Lance Archer is that he is pretty technical and he can go up a couple gears. Because usually he's just stays in the lane of big, powerful dude who throws little dudes into the crowd. But when he has a serious opponent, he switches it up and he doesn't stay there. He goes to the next level and sometimes beyond. And man, the more I think about it, the more I think Lance Archer is an underrated dude.
He
I think
is.
he is too.
Well,
I think he is too.
okay, we don't have time for this rant, but yes, that was one of the drop balls when he was a solo person with Jake Roberts. He should have won something. I don't know what he should have won, but he should have won something.
I do believe though that his style works better in New Japan.
Mm.
At the same time, I do think he's a very solid wrestler and a star. I mean, in general. So, but no, I enjoyed this, and and Will Ospreay. Anytime he's on my TV, I'm happy. We're sitting down doing Horsey Awards, and it was everything I could do to not have all 3 of my nominations for match of the year be Will Ospreay matches. I mean, I had to go out of my way to find another match that I thought was equal with those to be able to put there just because I wanted something different. Because it could have very easily been 3 Will Ospreay matches. So
I got 2.
You got 2 Will Ospreay matches?
Yeah, it was really hard for me not making it 3, honestly.
Yep.
I had a couple in mind and I was like, because I was seeing could I get it down to 1? And it's no, I have to have at least these 2 on here.
Yeah. So,
but they might be a different 2 than you have.
Yeah, that would be funny. I'd be interested to see if we have the same third, since we picked a third.
No chance.
No chance.
I went to Japan for my third.
Oh yeah, definitely no chance then. But that being said, I love this match. I thought this match came off really well, and it was a great way to open the show. Lots of fun. Get 8 guys on TV at one time, and I thought it came off good. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we have some promos here. We got to do some promoting matches business. The first promo is the Death Riders. Yuta's in a chair, looking like he's being brainwashed. While Maria's on the right side, being cool. Clyde's on the other side, and Moxley is in the back, right? So basically, they're just hyping Yuta up. It looks like a brainwashing, but they're hyping Yuta up for his match with OC. And basically, he's like, we're going to show you how our teachings of Yuta has made him a better wrestler when he beats you. And then Claudio, my baby, I'm not sure what language he used, but I'm pretty sure he speaks 5. But he just cuts his promo in a different language, and I'm just like, I love you so much. Don't speak English no more. Just speak a different language, and I'm pretty and I love you. And then the next segment, these are real cut, short and sweet. I love them. Darby basically having his match against Claudia, which is tonight. Oh my gosh, we're going to try to contain that for at least more than 10 minutes. Basically, I'm going to go against Claudio. I'm trying to get it done. And so, any thoughts on any of these 2 promos?
Yeah, thankfully, and don't get me wrong, I have 0 problem with facial hair. I really don't. In fact, I like beards and mustaches and goatees as long as they look good. But thankfully, we have one guy that at least acknowledges the fact that he doesn't need facial hair because it probably doesn't look good in Claudio. We have a terrible beard on Wheeler Yuta. I don't know what is going on the bottom of John Moxley's beard now. It's
I
like
like
this
that
little
looks
bunny nub
weird.
type thing at the bottom. It's like his goatee comes down and he's got this little like bunny nub coming up that looks horrible. And Pat's
Like-
beard has always looked terrible. So that being said, I thought it was fun. I enjoyed this, and it was great. It's only a matter of time before I'm sure somebody comes along and talks Wheeler out of being, the whipping boy for the BCC and the turns and all that kind of stuff. But in the meantime, I'm here for this. I like it, and I'm sorry, Death Riders. I still want to call them BCC.
Right.
Right now, everything they're doing is gold at the moment. So
it is. Yeah. Sammy?
I love wrestling.
Yeah. Understood. All right. So next up, we have. Let me see here. Yeah. So the Hurt Syndicate is coming to the arena in a very nice little SUV. Renee Paquette tries to get an interview, and MJF. MVP says, well, I have a big announcement. Bobby Lashley will make his AEW debut in a match tonight. Like, oh, okay, cool. But while they're engrossed in this announcement, Swerve just comes out of nowhere and hits Lashley with a freaking chain, and then he just sneaks back out. It's like, sir, where are you coming from? What the freak?
On site.
So, on site. I ain't mad at that. What do y'all feel about Bobby Lashley having his debut match on Dynamite and not at Full Gear? I'm at two minds because MJF does this a lot where he doesn't do the main. He actually does a match before the pay-per-view, and I get it. It takes the It takes the pressure off of the match being on pay-per-view. But on the other hand, I think if you're good enough, you should. Sometimes your debut match can be on pay-per-view. So I'm not sure how I feel about Bobby having his match on Dynamite before Full Gear. What do you guys think?
I didn't think it was an issue at all. Honestly, that never occurred to me to begin with. Like, I mean, I get it for like, I don't know, like Bad Bunny, of like, do that on the pay-per-view. We don't want him getting hurt before the pay-per-view. But like with Bobby, it's like he's a wrestler. Like, this is also the go home show, and if it draws eyes, gets more people talking, more people tell other people, and then those people then tune into the pay-per-view, then it's a full net positive across the board.
What do you think, Ayo?
This is one of those interesting things because, we all want dream matches, and at the same time, somebody's got to lose. And, that's always tough. And I'm assuming, my feeling is, and if we're doing predictions, I think Swerve's beating Bobby Lashley at Full Gear. So you can't have a guy that you're building the Hurt Syndicate. You're hyping them up as a big faction. You've brought in the almighty Bobby Lashley. He's going to be the head of your Hurt Syndicate faction now as the biggest wrestler, the biggest star. You can't have him come in and lose his debut match on Full Gear to Swerve. So you got to give him something to begin with. That being said, this was not the right thing to give him. A 2-on-1 squash match didn't work, in my opinion. Give him a quality opponent. Let him show what he can actually do. Let him get a good win over someone that's got some reputation on the AEW roster, and actually make it look like Bobby can do something. This did nothing as far as making Bobby. I already know Bobby can beat two scrubs like at one time. That does nothing for me. Show me that he can beat, I don't know, whoever it is you want to, somebody, whatever, whoever you think you can get to be a quality opponent, but a much better quality opponent. And yeah, unfortunately, I think you do have to have the match because Bobby's got to have a win before he takes a loss to Swerve because I don't think he's beaten Swerve. So that being said, in my personal opinion, right now, when it comes to this kind of storyline and feud stuff, there is nobody better than Swerve at the moment. Like, just everything he does in all of these feuds is just perfect. I mean, he's just great. Like, and this stuff now with Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Syndicate, just another example. I mean, the Hangman Page stuff was classic, and now he's moving on another feud storyline, and then the stuff with Bobby Lashley is great. I mean, Swerve is he's been in his bag for a while now, and this is, I mean, just continuing it. He's got the Midas touch at the moment. So, and the whole thing at the end, which we'll get to with the jacket and stuff, I thought was brilliant. I thought it was hysterical. So, yeah, I'm here for it. That being said, you know, I think Bobby Lashley's taking the loss in Full Gear. So
I can't wait for
You
the
think
Horse Gear
so?
release.
You think Bobby Lashley loses to Swerve?
I do. That said, though, I was very irritated by the way that Bobby basically no-sold and strong-styled the drive-by. Like, dude, that's his finishing move, and you just basically jumped up and made it look like it didn't do anything to you. Like,
Jump up. He was down for a
within
3
seconds,
count.
you were standing in the middle of the ring, like, "What's up?" Like, dude, no, that's a finisher move by Swerve's. Like, oh, come on now. So, but it is what it is. I mean, you know, I don't know. Yeah, you think Bobby Lashley's beating Swerve?
I think Bobby Lashley's being Swerve. Yeah, I don't see
You
it.
do?
Like, even though even though they did the debut match at Dynamite, I don't. This is the first big match. I don't see him losing to Swerve. Yeah,
Here's the thing. If they didn't have this match, I would have been 100% Bobby Lashley's winning. Now I'm a little bit split. Like, now I could see it going either way. But
understandable.
if they didn't have this match, I would have been, oh, it's got to be Bobby. It's his debut match. Like, you're
Yeah.
not bringing a star like Bobby in and he's losing his first match. But now it's his second match, and they could get away with it.
One of those things where, you know, you back yourself into a corner because someone's got to win, and at the same time, like, this is also what we love about AEW, because you have the biggest stars wrestling each other in dream matches all the time. And to a certain extent, Swerve versus Bobby Lashley is a dream match. It wasn't one I know I needed, and I'm not the biggest Bobby Lashley fan, but it is a dream match to a certain extent. So I mean, you know,
I'm the biggest Bobby Lashley fan on the channel, so yes, please, thank you. I'll even take seconds. Like,
I mean, clearly not. 100% clearly not, because they're using it. I was extremely surprised when they called him the almighty Bobby Lashley. I thought that was a
Right?
WWE thing. So I was very surprised that they're using the almighty Bobby Lashley, which is fine. I mean, I don't care.
Right.
It surprised
maybe
me
it's
when I saw
felt
that.
differently.
And I wasn't a huge fan of his ring gear this time. I thought he had better ring gear in WWE. The little Keith Lee sleeveless jacket thing, I don't think really worked very well. I don't know.
Well, another thing is that WWE is weird with the trademarks. They trademark some stuff that's
That
like,
part, yeah.
what do you need this for? And then they forget to trademark other things that's like, whoo.
Like a rated R superstar.
Yeah. Well, yeah. They kept Edge. So Adam Copeland's the
Right.
regular superstar, but it's Adam Copeland. It's like, that is such a white name. All right. So next up, we have a promo from Adam Cole in the ring. Boom. He started off with trying to pump up that Roddy Strong's going to kick MJF's butt, because, you know, Adam Cole. We were confused last. Well, I was confused about last week, where I thought it was just you had to win 3 to get to MJF. It was the first one to win 3. So it's straight up Roddy Strong versus MJF. That's a choice. But like Adam Cole, hey, they're friends. So he's trying to hype up this match. And none other than Kyle O'Reilly comes out to have a little conversation with Adam Cole. And he was like, listen, you have to end this vendetta against MJF. We're your friends. We're gonna go basically go over a cliff for you, because you're a leader. We see something in you that gravitates us to want to do whatever you want us to do, right? And so it's like, so you think that you're steps ahead of MJF. MJF is playing 3D chess. He's so many steps ahead of you.
Steps ahead of you.
So you really think that this match is just gonna end with a pinfall? Like, no. And so it's like you have to let it go. And then he ends it with, you're not
I know that hurts, but you're not the butthole that MJF is, and that's a good thing. And
you're not as evil.
You're not as evil as MJF is, and that's a good thing. No music. Listen, who's in charge of the button? Who's in charge of the button? Because no, like this. So it ended awkwardly with no music. Kyle O'Reilly just leaves, and Adam Cole just pontificates what he just said.
I actually disagree. I felt like without the music, it let me breathe in the moment. And
the whole moment, like it took you like 2 minutes of just looking at Adam Cole in the ring. Though I get 1 minute after the promo, and then hit the music. But it's like, no, we're just left.
I felt like it gave more gravity. I felt like that was intentional.
Yeah, it's a hit or miss when you do that. But nevertheless, I did like what Kyle O'Reilly said. It was like, I'm not gonna say it's weird, but this whole feud, to call it a feud, has been tricky because how MJF and Adam Cole ended, Adam Cole was hurt. So Adam Cole was hurt, but they made him the devil. MJF was hurt. They really didn't do anything with Undisputed Kingdom while MJF was hurt. MJF comes back. He kicks Cole in the dick, and we thought it's over. But Adam Cole gets healthy, and they resume this feud, right? And it's like, okay, you're going to resume the feud, have the match, and be done with it, right? You don't have the match. You actually make it Roderick Strong versus MJF. And so it's like, what are we doing? No offense. It's sometimes you have to know when to cut the cord. And MJF and Adam Cole, too much time has passed and it's too much work to reheat this up. So in my opinion, when MJF kicked Adam in the dick, you should have just let it go, but you didn't. And then now you're not even give us MJF and Adam Cole. You're gonna give us MJF and Roddy Strong. So It's not a turn off segment. It's not a turn off segment where it's like, hey, I want to turn this off. But it really is like, y'all are putting too much work into this, and is the work worth it? What do y'all guys think?
I mean, in a vacuum, I don't have necessarily a problem with Roderick Strong versus MJF. I think it'll be a solid match. Both of them are good wrestlers. Roderick Strong deserves the spot he's been doing, putting in the work and paying his dues for a lot of years. So I'm happy to see him get the opportunity. He's not going to beat MJF, I don't think. It wouldn't surprise me to see Cole get involved in some way, shape, or form. I don't know what that looks like. And it wouldn't surprise me, even though they have the friendship in the background, it wouldn't surprise me to have Cole get involved in some way that ends up putting a wedge between him and Roderick. I don't know what that looks like. Like maybe he attempts to help Roddy, but ends up and indirectly hitting Roderick when he tries to hit MJF, something like that. I don't know. I can see something like that happening, and maybe getting a feud between Roderick and Cole. I mean, Kyle O'Reilly coming out and saying what he said, it's fine. I mean, I think Anika's right. I think the camera was on him a little too long. I think the music could have hit a little earlier. That being said, Sammy's not wrong either. I mean, Kyle O'Reilly had some emotional things to say. It was emotionally charged, so you need a little second to let it breathe and let people kind of let it sink in. But and I don't know. I mean, I didn't have a problem with what Kyle O'Reilly said. And I understand that wrestling is a soap opera and all that stuff. Sometimes it just feels a little too much soap opera-y for me. And this
that's the whole thing with this, though. Like, this match is not a pay-per-view match if you look at it on paper. It's the soap opera, the drama, the angle, the story. That's everything that's trying to build it to make it be a pay-per-view match instead of being a Dynamite main event.
I agree, and yet this segment really, Roderick Strong felt like the odd man out, and he's the one in the match. So you're trying to hype Roderick and MJF without Roderick being involved. I mean, through Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. So it's a weird way to go about hyping it up on your go home show. So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we'll see. I think MJF and Roderick Strong will be a very solid match. I have no idea what Tony Khan's booking mindset is around this. We often complain about not long-term storytelling and not enough of it. And yet this has been way too long. MJF and Adam Cole, mostly because of injuries, has been way too long. And I do think Anika's right. I mean, I think that it's lost its momentum to a certain extent. This is one of the issues when you have a guy like MJF who has like 6 unfinished feuds out there, and you don't really put a bow on them. You think you can go back to them, but the reality is that they've cooled down too much. I mean, there was a point in time where people were like, "Oh yeah, you're mad enough, you're sympathetic enough towards Wardlow that you want to see Wardlow versus MJF." Now, does anybody care? And there's never been a bow put on that. I mean, and
I
people
felt
are
like there
starting
was
to
a
get to the
bow
point.
put on it when Wardlow beat MJF in like 15 seconds. I felt like that was the bow.
I suppose. I mean, I guess. Didn't really feel like a big exclamation point to me. I mean, I guess it did for Wardlow, but it didn't feel like MJF was ever going to let that just slide and be the end of it. That being said, I think that this is cooled down a lot. And even though I'm still ultimately interested in an MJF Adam Cole match, the storyline they're doing right now, per se, I'm not overly interested in the match. Like, they've got to do something else to get me reinterested again, like I was back before they both got injured. So,
yeah. All right, and so this had a whole lot of backstage segments, but it's fine. We have OC backstage, and he was like, "Hey, I know how the Death Riders work. I know when I beat Yuta, y'all are going to be out there. But you know what? Come with it. I don't care." Mark Briscoe comes out with Ishii and Rocky Romero. He's like, "Hey, you ain't got to do that. It's 5 guys out there. You got your boys. We can back you up." Like, no. And so OC was like, "No, I don't want anybody to get hurt. Like, come on, bro. Come on." Like, OC was like, "No." Like, oh, that was stupid. He was stupid. Like, no. I don't want anyone getting hurt. You don't have to like it or understand me. Just respect me. And so Mark was like, "All right, man. All right." And so OC was like, "You hear that, Moxley? It's 5 on you, and it's just 1 of me. I hope you have enough people. I hope you have enough ammo." It's like, I get what you're trying to do, but this is dumb. This is dumb. I get it. If you ain't got no friends, you have friends. What's the point of you doing this?
The lone self-righteous guy fighting the bad guys, it's always sympathetic and always has, a little bit of leg to it. And it's a classic trope. At the same time, it's one I never liked and I don't buy. Like, that stuff doesn't, most of the time that stuff doesn't happen in real life. Like, you're not just like, "Okay, I'm going to willingly walk into a group of 5 of the toughest guys that are out by myself and just ask my friends to stay back there." Like, that, the reality is that's not going to happen. And it only works in wrestling because it's not real, right? So
no. This is not because it's wrestling. It makes sense. No. If you have friends,
it doesn't.
No. In wrestling, this only works if you don't have friends. I was in the group chat talking about this, and they're like, if this was Darby, it would have made more sense because the only friend Darby, like the only actual friend, like, I trust you, my tag team partners, Darby had was Sting. OC, right. You have friends. This only works if you have no friends. Stone Cold, he had no friends. That's why he was usually by himself. Sometimes he had a partner for a tag team match, but he usually was by himself. Who else was by him? Like, only a lot of people. The Rock, he only had, like, maybe sometimes he trusted Mick Foley, but usually he was by himself because he had no friends. If you have friends, why are you asking them to stay in the back?
Yeah, I'm not big on martyrs, so I'm not interested to see you try to go out and play hero and be the one that does nothing for me. And I don't like OC, so that being said, 'tis what it is.
Yeah, so Sam, what do you think about this segment?
I mean, Darby Allin does have some friends.
Who? Friends. Not associates, friends.
Friends.
Uh, Adam Copeland, who's injured.
Best friend.
Are they not? They work together.
I think they're cool with each other, but tell me when they work together and why.
They had a match with each other against the Patriarchy, and they had a match together against Lance Archer and the Righteous.
I'm trying to remember that. Was that because of Sting?
Sting was there, yeah.
Yeah, so no, that was a Sting thing. That was because Sting and Adam were friends. That because Adam Copeland and Darby were friends.
They also worked together with Hook. They worked together with Tetsuya Naito. They worked together with Keith Lee, Orange Cassidy, the Great Muta. I mean, I understand that like these people aren't, available aside from Hook and Orange Cassidy, but
But yeah,
Darby Allin's a loner. He's a lone wolf, dude. I mean, let's be honest about it. That's one of the things that's one of his character traits to a certain extent is that he's a lone wolf. I mean, and that's why he hasn't joined a faction or doesn't have a whole lot of friends and that kind of stuff. Is because he's a unique lone wolf type dude. He doesn't need a whole bunch of people. That being said, Orange Cassidy's not Darby Allin, and he does. I don't know why, but apparently some people like him, and he has friends.
They do that.
So,
they do that.
again, I don't do the martyr thing. So, him falling on his sword does nothing for me. So, the best part about it, and we'll get to it, was what they did to him. So,
okay.
So
All right.
when we get to the pay-per-view, Orange, just put the younger guy over. It's fine. Just put the younger guy over.
By 2 years. By 2 years. All right. So next up, an actual match, we have Sheeta versus Statlander. A good show of sportsmanship. Statlander's trying to get ready for Mercedes Moné at full gear. This was fine. It was actually pretty good. I love Sheeta. I don't know what we can do to reheat up Sheeta, but this was fine. Statlander win. Of course, he should. Here comes out Mercedes Moné. Where the freak they are? Oh hell! that freaking thing she does. A little sports heat. Talking about 76ers. Was it 76ers? That's what I'm not trying to say because I don't remember the town, but I do remember her doing the sports time heat. Talking about such had a good game. Let's go. And so basically, how the promo of how Statlander isn't going to beat her. She sends broken arm Camille to fight Statlander. Boo you, ma'am. But of course, Camille get her behind whoop because you only got one freaking arm. Mercedes tries to do the backstabber, sneak attack on her. Can't do it because Statlander, she got some muscles on her.
Yeah,
so
she attempted it like 3 times and none of them worked.
Not budging at all. So, but then Statlander does Saturday Night Fever and stands tall. So, not a bad go home segment for the TBS Championship match. Could have done better. If you say that, what could have done better? I don't know. But, this was fine.
Yeah,
what do y'all think?
It was fine, and honestly, probably my least favorite part of the show.
You're very, very. I got one better, but all right.
I didn't have a problem with this. I mean, I thought this was fine. My only problem that I have here, and I don't understand why I feel this way. It feels like there's a difference between Sasha Banks and Mercedes Moné. I feel like Sasha Banks was a better wrestler, and Sasha Banks felt better to me than Mercedes Moné does. I don't know why. Like, she talked better, she wrestled better, she carried. I mean, I don't know. It feels like there's a difference there, and I don't know if that's the WWE machine giving her scripted promos that came off better than maybe AEW letting her be on her own and just say what she wants to. I'm not totally sure what it is, but the new CEO, Mercedes Moné, is not giving me what I was hoping it would. I was extremely excited for what we were going to get from her when she broke away from WWE. And I feel like so far it's been a little underwhelming. That being said, I'm looking forward to Stat and her. I think it should be a good match. I'm assuming she'll get the win. For me personally, just because I feel like they're more of a match. They're a better matchup. I want to see Camille and Statlander when Camille gets her arm right again and out of that sling. That to me, they just for some reason more than Stat and Mercedes does. That being said, I think the match will be fine.
I'd rather see Mercedes versus Cheetah.
Yeah, I would rather see Mercedes versus Cheetah than Mercedes versus Statlander. But that being said, I didn't think that this was bad. I thought this was fine.
Yeah. So to that credit, it really is a catch-22 of what happened. Because even like I do agree with you, Sasha Banks and Mercedes are different. But even when Mercedes was in New Japan when she first got there, I enjoyed that more than I love Mercedes right now. So I'm not sure what's going on, right? Because heel Mercedes in New Japan was a hoot. It's like, what the frick is wrong with you, chick? So I don't know.
It kind of feels like her heart's not in it.
Not to say her heart. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that per se. Because it feels like...
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay, brain fart. I'm thinking too hard about it. But I would like... It's like... Okay, I'll say this and we'll leave it. I wonder if it would have been different if they would have just let her beat Toni Storm. Look, I know that Toni Storm and Riley May, that was a good program. Ain't nobody knocking that. But it does feel like
you didn't
maybe
have a plan
it could have
after.
been better. Huh?
It feels like they didn't have a plan after.
Oh, they definitely didn't have a plan afterwards. They definitely didn't have a plan afterwards. Yeah.
For Mercedes winning the TBS championship or Mariah beating Toni Storm.
Honestly, maybe both.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't know what they want to do.
Yeah.
They didn't have anything to do planned for after with either.
Yeah. And so maybe that's the reason too. Where it's like if you don't have a plan, you can't get invested if you don't know what the frick you're doing. Yep, there we go.
Sure.
So
I mean that could be part of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about her that just isn't quite connecting as much for me. That being said, she's still Mercedes and I still like her. And I thought that this did, honestly, for me, for a go-home show, this did what it was supposed to do. I thought that it, built up the Statlander Mercedes match, even though I'm not overly excited about it. It built it up for I did a good job of building it up. I mean, continuing to build it up.
I do believe that it's gonna be a great match. And to get the best Mercedes, she just had to be invested. Not sure what that match is. Honestly, I think she was invested when she did her little match with Queen Aminata. I think I love that match with her and Queen Aminata. So maybe just asking her who she wants to face and just doing it. Stop gatekeeping people and let her face who she wants to face.
It's such a wild thing because, I feel that Mercedes is the best women's wrestler on the face of the earth. And we've seen it. Her with Willow, we saw it. And I just think she's not into this program right now. And so it's not coming through.
Maybe that's true. I mean, Dynamite's live. And I wonder that spot with the backstabber. It looked to me like they did a good job of playing it off, like Statlander did a good job of countering, as opposed to what it really looked like, which was Mercedes didn't do a very good job of trying to hit the move the first two times. It looks like she just didn't jump on her back right. It didn't work right, and finally she got it right on the third time. I mean, as opposed to Statlander. I mean, I think they did a good job of making it look somewhat like Statlander was fighting it off, but it looked like a two-time botch on the move to me before a successful one. That's how I saw that. But again, maybe you're right. I mean, her match versus Willow was good. I still don't know. And Willow, I love Willow. And Willow's been in some great matches. I still don't know that we've seen anything from Mercedes so far. And it's been it's a very short amount of time compared to her time in WWE. And she's only had 4 or 5 matches so far, but none of them have equaled. I don't think any of the matches I can remember seeing that I thought were, wow, Sasha Banks is great in these matches. She hasn't had those matches yet in AEW, in my opinion. But I don't know. That's just
Unfortunately,
my
no.
personal opinion.
Yeah, but I still have hope. I don't think it's a downer. I think they still turn it around. Like I said, stop gatekeeping people. Like Thunder Rosa is there. Why haven't we seen that? Diana Peraza is there. Why haven't we seen her go against Mercedes from day? It's like people are there, but you're not letting them fight her.
Yeah, and you don't have to. You could do. I mean, where is Athena? Even though she's in Ring of Honor, you could still have her come to AEW for a match. I mean, just because she's in Ring of Honor and they're champ doesn't mean she has to be 100% exclusive to Ring of Honor. Like, I mean, they have plenty of time where Ring of Honor people come to AEW and have matches and vice versa. So, I mean, where's Athena? Athena could come and have a match. I mean, I don't, so. Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's odd to me, and that's no disrespect to Statlander. Statlander's been around. She's paid her dues. I think she's solid. I just don't necessarily know that her versus Mercedes gets me all that excited.
I'm not a Statlander fan, so she's alright.
I wouldn't say now. I love Statlander, so I'm not gonna put it on Statlander. Well, I'm not into this match, but. Yeah,
I hear you.
Well, I'm not putting it on her either because, I think it's just bad chemistry.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just that. All right, so next we have Lashley in his debut AEW Dynamite match, for better or for worse. It was a 2-on-1 with a dude named Cheeseburger. Yay!
Mm-hmm.
Don't know who that is. Sorry.
He's not familiar with Cheeseburger.
I don't know Cheeseburger.
That's one of the disadvantages of not being or not knowing the indie stuff. Cheeseburger's been around for a long time and has made quite a name for himself on the independent. I mean, he's always
familiar.
He's always kind of the the underdog and all those kind of things. He's but he's never been like the top of any indie promotion. I don't even know that he's been a champion per se, but he's one of those fan favorite guys because he's always an underdog. People just like him. He's high flyer. He's a fast dude, and the name Cheeseburger I think always gets a pop. So
yeah, but this was a squash. This was to showcase the almighty Lashley being the almighty Lashley. He was just tossing these dudes up, dapping up MVP, and Sean Benjamin like, yeah, I got this. Hurt Lock, ref calls the match. He wins, right? And so now, beforehand, right? Sorry, I missed this. After Swerve hit Lashley in the parking lot, MVP and Shelton was on a mission. They're like, hey, let's get to old boy first before Lashley's match. They saw a fur coat and dreads and thought it was Swerve. It was not. I almost beat that poor little boy. He just had a free coat. So don't hit him like that. And then
there was a opportunity here to do something funny and they didn't do it. When they asked, where'd you get that coat from? If he would just went Burlington, I would have laughed my ass off.
Only you, though. Only you. But that's
funny.
That's stupid. But yeah. And so after the match, Swerve's music hits. MVP shows on the offense. They get out of the ring. MVP's ready with his cane. Shelton actually goes through the crowd, I think, but Swerve is under the ring, and so he attacks Bobby Lashley with the chain once more. He goes up top. He goes for the curve stomp, makes his mark. As soon as he noticed that MVP and Shelton catches on, he did a front flip all out the freaking ring. It's like, sir, it's a good move. I need you not to hurt yourself before the pay-per-view. That's my mind went to. Please don't hurt yourself before the pay-per-view. And Swerve goes into the crowd, stands tall, and like I said, sometimes I do think you can hold out the debut match on pay-per-view, but this wasn't bad. You know, it is what it is. What do y'all think?
Is this New Japan? Is this ECW? So Swerve took a chain. He punched MVP in the face. He punched Shelton Benjamin in the face. And he punched Bobby Lashley in the face and gave Bobby Lashley a fucking whatchamacallit. And all
Curse,
three of them no-sold all of it. All three of them are standing in the ring like, nothing happened to us. Bring it on back. You just got hit with the chain in the face. You should be unconscious at ringside. That's a fucking chain and a right hand from Swerve Scott. Why are you just like, I didn't? And the MVP's not even holding his mouth. Shelton's not even looking like they're just like, let's get it on. Really? Come on now. I thought it was terrible as far as that part went. Other than that, I thought Swerve appearing was great. I love all that stuff. Swerve's in his bag. This is great. He's good at this stuff. So I thought that was great. The way that the Hurt Syndicate no-sold the chain was terrible.
Hey, I did. Sammy, any thoughts?
I felt like MVP should have at least sold it, but Bobby, he's, the almighty. I get, him no selling. Shelton, I'm like, but MVP definitely should have sold it.
I guess in my mind, in the world where there's actually cinder blocks hit on people and people are injected with freaking needles into the mouth, a chain to the face, even though real life, yes, you should be down for a minute. In wrestling world,
But Swerve's been using this chain. He's won he's beat other people with this chain and used this chain for the last couple of years now. This isn't the first chain experience for Swerve. I mean, this is something he uses to take people out regularly, and all of a sudden it doesn't work because it's the Hurt Syndicate.
I mean, it worked. He got a lick.
It's 60-year-old broken down MVP, and no disrespect to Shelton Benjamin, but super long in the tooth Shelton Benjamin. Like, you're right. Bobby Lashley, okay, it is what it is. I get it. Maybe you don't sell with Bobby Lashley, but really, I don't know. It didn't come off right for me as far as the no sell with the chain, but
at least
I thought it was fine.
At least MVP should have sold
it. Agreed. At least MVP. All right, next up, we have another backstage promo. Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa actually together, finally, backstage, but it's fine. Again, it's like, come on. Both of y'all stop.
Take our booby
Both
time.
of y'all stop right
I mean, what was this? Can somebody tell me what this was?
So we all knew when Mina came back, that's gonna be the program, right? So they finally said that Mina's gonna give Mariah the celebration of being champion that she been longing for these past couple of months. Mariah being a little bit too fourth Wally, where he was like, she's like, hey, this is why I'm a champion. When they give me, I make it shine. It's like they haven't given you. I ain't go front. Your reign has not been eventful, so it's like. But I get it, baby girl. I get it. And so they're like, Rampage. You're gonna see me and see me and Mariah do what we do best, and then that's when they did the shimmy thing. Shake. Look. I get it. If this
brings other boys to the yard, like it's better than yours. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Stop. Both y'all stop that now. I don't know what is going on right now, but both of y'all stop it.
I am a fan. I enjoyed this. It's like, all right, we're finally getting something with Mariah that,
My thing is, she's the heavyweight champion, though. Why is it a backstage promo? Like, why is it a backstage promo, bruh? This is she's the champ. I don't care if you have Mercedes Moné on the roster. You made her your heavyweight champ, so you better kill another men's promo or another men's wrestling match. And there we go. How about we kill the cheese? How about we kill the Costco dude and the little boy segment and actually have this in ring with Mina and Mercedes and Mariah? Because I'm tired of this now.
15 seconds though.
I don't. Well, it depends because they had. Okay, so is this next? No, it's not next. But you know what? Screw it. We're going to go out of order because no offense. This segment doesn't need to be in order. So they asked Private Party about their match on Full Gear, the Fatal 4 with the tag team partners. They said something, and then some dude named the Costco guy comes in with his little boy, and they basically invade the pay-per-view. They get hyped up together. Then the Costco man and his little boy have a interview, have a freaking segment by them freaking selves, and they announce a match between QT Marshall and him at Full Gear, which is stupid. And then they both pose. So boom. And okay, look. I get it. We're trying to branch out. They have a lot of followers on TikTok. Fine. Sometimes I don't want my wrestling to be involved with other stuff, especially if I don't know. This is a personal rant with Anika Wilson. I don't know dudes like this. I don't know. I haven't seen them on YouTube. I'm not on TikTok like that. I haven't seen them on Instagram. I haven't seen them on YouTube. So in my eyes, they don't have enough followers to be doing this. And then we haven't seen QT Marshall in how freaking long? And all of a sudden we're gonna pop him up for this match? Why?
On a pay-per-view? I mean, thankfully it's going to be on 0 Hour, but
this
really, like,
on 0 Hour. This better be on 0 Hour.
0 Hour is too good for this. Like,
Bro,
what this was.
Dude, on Rampage.
I don't know what this was. And to go back to the Mina and Mariah thing, like, there was, again, and I say this quite often, but in a vacuum, there was nothing wrong with the actual promo work that they did on Dynamite on Wednesday. But big picture, if you waited 2.5 months or 2 months for Mina to come back to do this, I'm severely disappointed because it wasn't anything. I didn't think it was that good. I mean, it was
eventful,
but not like waiting 2 months to have this come back and do this. Like, okay.
Mina's energy is infectious, though, and I will stand by the wait and see next week at the celebration and see what happens because something big could be in store for next week. We don't know.
I'd love to see Mina turn on her. That would be fun. And attack her. That would be fun. Yeah, no. And then the Costco guy says, I mean, I don't do TikTok either, so I don't know who any of those people are. So it goes over my head too. There's no connection there either. So as far as I'm concerned, it's stupid. I mean, I don't understand why you're doing it. I get it, but it's not for me.
All right. So after my Ray promo, this was the best thing on the freaking show. We have Darby Allin versus Claudio. Sweet baby. This is what I'm talking about. I love Claudio. He is that dude. I love Darby. He is that crackhead. All right. So
this should have been the main event.
I can't knock that.
I'm pretty positive this is the match. I'm trying to remember. I don't know. I can remember the spot, but I can't remember the two people doing it. Is this where Claudio brain busts Darby on the guardrail? There was a spot during one match on this Dynamite this week where someone got brain busted onto the guardrail. And I don't remember who the people were. And at the time, I was thinking, I want to mention this on Winter Circle because that spot was cool. It may have been during the first match with Kyle Fletcher, but for some reason, I thought it might have been here with Claudio and Darby. But whatever the case may be, that spot happened at some point during the show, and I thought it was amazing. I don't remember who it was, but
knowing what they did in this match, I can see why you made that assumption because this was basically if you're a Darby fan,
it was Yuta.
It was Yuta.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So no, I can see how you got that impression because if you're a Darby fan or a fan of Darby matches, I'm pretty sure I can say it's because you like seeing him get tossed around and he comes back a little bit Not a lot, but a little bit. This was that match where Claudio, the big strong boy that he is, was basically just tossing Darby around like he was a freaking pancake. And I loved every moment of it. Tossed around on the guardrail, tossed somewhere in between the steps. Darby got a little bit of offense with his beautiful tope suicidas. I do love them; they are the best in the business. But that was not enough. Then we get Claudio giving him a suplex, but he carried him suplex style up the stairs into the ring, and then did the suplex. And all in all, he went outside and basically gorilla suplex Darby into a table. And this is a classic AEW table. The freaking table doesn't break. So again, we think Darby's not here with us no more because the freaking table didn't break and he's just there. He's just on the flow. We don't know if he's all right or not. So Claudio's like, this is still a match. I need a 10 count. So start the 10 count, please. So the ref does the 10 count. Darby, his crazy behind comes in, but Claudio suplexes. No, not suplexes. Freaking Larry to behind. 1, 2, 3. I wouldn't have had it any other way. This was so good. I'm questioning why you did not have this match on freaking Full Gear. This is a Full Gear match. I know you can't gatekeep and have some matches have to be for Dynamite, but this should have been on Full Gear. Point blank freaking period. Any thoughts?
No, I mean, I tend to agree. I mean, I thought that this was extremely solid. I enjoyed it very much. Darby is fun. You know, I do, as much as it's fun to watch Darby get thrown around. You know, at some point, the guy that gets beat for 45 minutes and then in 1 minute is able to do something to get the win kind of wears thin. You know, you can only get beat severely for so long and still have the ability to come back over and over and over and over and over again and have the upset over and over and over and over and over again. Like,
it should be a special thing, yeah.
Right. I mean, it just gets to be. This is a Darby match. Like it's become his MO. It's like this is. If it was Michael Cole, this is vintage Darby Allin. You know what I mean? And I don't necessarily know that that's great. Like there should be times where he is actually in matches where he can show just how good he actually is and not just get beat up and have one move to win at the end. You know what I'm saying? So, and he does have those sometimes, but they're few and far between for me. More often than not, it feels like, you know, in a 15-minute match, 13 minutes of it, he's taking damage. And then the last 2 minutes he has, you know, gets his wherewithal and ends up winning the match. And that's, like I said, like Sammy said, it should be special. I mean, it can't be every time. But other than that, and yes, he has the best tope suicida in the business.
Well, I have something to say here, and that's I really like this Go Home show. This was a great Go Home show, but looking at the Full Gear card, we could be looking at the worst pay-per-view that AEW has put out this year.
I'm not gonna say the worst, but it is the.
We've
the
had
card
banger pay-per-views like basically
is
all
lacking.
year. Like this feels like the weakest pay-per-view of the year.
It's
join us
definitely
tonight for the watch along to see how it actually plays out.
Mhm.
We will be here live for you. So join us.
Yeah.
Well, we watch AEW Full Gear and hope for a good show. I mean, if I'm here watching it, I hope it's better than it appears to be potentially on paper. So,
well, I'm not saying it'll be a bad show. I'm just saying, like, looking at this compared to the other pay-per-views we've had throughout the year,
sure,
like this card looks weak.
Understandable. So,
right.
I glanced over it, but it needs to be said. We had a promo video with Hangman and Jay White pumping up their freaking match. I loved all of this because Hangman, I love Backcrack Crazy Hangman. Backcrack Crazy Hangman does the best freaking promos. So, Jay White is there. He's there. Like, he has a good, okay, so I'm going to do both. Try to do both. So, Jay White was like, This coming Saturday, I'm going to prove to you why that I'm a step ahead of Adam Cole. If I can tap you in the middle of that ring, 1, 2, 3, it will solidify that I am better than Adam Cole. And then
Adam Page.
I'm sorry, Adam Page, Hangman. He's like, if I can tap you in the middle of that ring, 1, 2, 3, it's going to prove that I am steps ahead of Hangman, Adam Page. All right, let me.
This might have been my favorite moment of the night.
I gotta do it right. I'll tell you right here. So now you have crazy Adam with the crazy eyes and his hair in his face. Just yelling his head off. Talking about, are you serious? You realize that I'm gonna lose to a pay-per-view that's named after freaking me? You're not ahead of me. You have never been ahead of me. It's just like, what is wrong with you? Why are you yelling? What is wrong with you? We thought it was a swerve thing. The swerve broke you, but I think it's so. You gotta go to therapy. You're gonna cheat, cause you should have gotten better by now. But no, you are still unhinged. And so he's like, you will never tap me. You will never beat me.
Like, I think he's going to AA with John Moxley, because like he's in that whole. The only thing I drink now is blood. Like,
it was so unhinged, and I like it. I even though I said that you should be over it, I don't want you to be Hangman. I want you to be this unhinged for at least a couple of more months. But yeah, this is probably one of the matches on the card that I am fully invested in. I don't know who's going to win. I don't think I'll be mad if either one of them wins. I think Jay White needs it more because we want to make sure that he's solidified. Hangman Adam Page is solidified. He can lose and still be up the card.
Me
Jay
and
White,
Anika disagree. I think Hangman is on the Mount Rushmore of AEW.
Wow. Tommy says, hey guys, doing a live stream tonight? We are. We will be here tonight, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, at the start of the main card, doing a watch along. So please make sure and join us. We love to have you. Thanks for being here now. I think that's put a little bit too much on Hangman Page for me. But that being said, this was definitely my favorite segment of the night. I thought it was hysterical. Page with the eyes and the hair. Classic. This might have been my favorite. I don't remember promos a lot. Like, if I'm lucky, I'll remember one or something from a guy. Right now, this is the only Hangman Page promo I'll ever probably remember. But this one I'll remember just because of how crazy it was and how fun it was. And him and Jay White, I mean, they did this perfect as far as building up.
Yes.
This match is one I'm already excited for, and all they did was amp it up more for me. So this was kind of I want to say a clinic in how to kind of build up more towards the match on a go-home show, but this worked perfect for me, and I'm excited for Paige and White.
Like just some yelling. You realize I'm going to lose to a pay-per-view they named after me,
right?
All right. So where was I? All right, and so we were out of order.
Thomas says she's going to join us for Full Gear after she gets off of work. Thank you so much. We will be here.
Yes, indeed. So we have a promo video. We have MJF riding up in this parking lot. He gets changed to a homeless man. He sits on the hood of his Ferrari, Porsche. I don't know what his fancy car, and he proceeds to tell us about how he's happy Roderick Strong won because. Whatever reason, no offense. I'm good. This was a lot. So he's like, "Hey, I think you actually love Adam Cole, and for that, I'm good because when I beat Joe behind, it'll hurt Adam Cole." And then he proceeds to tell us about how Roddy's parents, his mom shot his dad in front of him. Is it okay? His dad shot his mom? No, I think his mom shot his dad. Either way, his parents shot each other in front of his face. And then he proceeds to say, I'm gonna beat you so bad. I'm gonna make you wish that instead of shooting each other, they shot you. Okay. I get what you're trying to do here. You know, you're not Roddy Strong is not Adam Cole, so you need some heat to this fire. This isn't a feud, though. This is a match. Your feud is with Adam Cole. So, don't really understand why you thought this was needed for this match. I said, like when you bring, I don't know his story. If he said it in Ring of Honor, okay, cool. But for this to be the first time I hear it about Roderick Strong's parents, because you're facing him at Full Gear, and again, no offense, we all thought it was Adam Cole, so we don't even. This was a lot. Do y'all have any thoughts? This was so much.
I felt that MJF is the kind of dude who would have brought this up even if they didn't have a match. Like, I feel like MJF would have brought this up if Roddy came and interrupted him doing a promo. And just like...
I feel like this, for you, because this was a whole video, like you have a whole video, like you actually shot this in a parking lot. If this was an in-ring segment and we're going toe to toe and MJF coldly says this, then maybe it'll be more palatable. But you actually hired a film crew to film you driving in a parking lot to tell everybody that Roderick Strong's parents shot each other. I don't.
And that you're going to make him wish that they had shot him instead.
I'm not saying that stuff doesn't happen, but somehow I don't necessarily put a lot of belief in the fact that that's a true story about Roderick Strong's parents.
It's a true story. It's true.
How do you know it's a true story?
Because Roderick Strong said, "Oh, hey, I actually got teased by this as a child." Yes, no, this is actually a true. Okay, I'm gonna Google it, but yes, I'm pretty sure you don't make this stuff up. I'm pretty sure.
Well, wrestling makes that kind of stuff up all the time, so.
I think okay. If this is okay. If this is a fake story, I'm more pissed off. But this is the story you make up. This is the story you make up. That the parents shot. One moment here.
I mean, as opposed to all the other made-up stories in wrestling, this is what you're offended by. Like, I mean, think of all the things that Christian Cage has said about people and their parents, and I'm sure it's not true. And not all of it.
They're all dead dads. No offense.
All that Wikipedia says is that he relocated at Florida at a young age following a troubled childhood. That's what Wikipedia says.
Maybe it's true. If it's true, okay, let me just say this. 100%, all serious, no joking aside, if that's 100% true, Roderick Strong's a way better person than I am. Because there is no possible way I could use something that traumatic from my real life and allow it to be used on a wrestling show. That's just me personally. I couldn't do that. That's too traumatic a thing.
Like,
that being
Wikipedia
said,
didn't even talk about it. It just said he relocated to Florida after a troubled childhood.
So Reddit 8 years ago said to the unfortunate story of Roderick Strong's mom shooting his father. This is freaking true.
So, I mean, if it's true, that's amazing because that stuff doesn't happen very often, and I feel very bad for Roderick Strong. And if it were me, I wouldn't necessarily allow that to be something that was said on TV or made part of a wrestling show. That being said, this is perfect for MJF. I mean, this is what he does. I mean, MJF, it's either low-hanging fruit or stuff that's supposed to make you cringe. I mean, that's where MJF, that's his lane. I mean, that's what he does. And even though this was a little much as far as I didn't necessarily like the location and the car and sitting on the hood and all that stuff, I don't know what that was supposed to do to add to the promo, but the promo itself I thought was fine. I mean, it was a little long and a little wordy, but he's always a little wordy. So, that being
Yeah,
said,
This
yeah,
surpassed what he said to Darby when they had their feud.
right. Yeah. I mean,
Yes. So yeah, this is actually true. April 21st, 2004, he did a podcast where he said the traumatic childhood of his mother being an addict and the mother shot his father.
interesting.
This is
Yeah, I mean,
more so. This isn't the match for that. You do this like no offense. Roddy versus MJF was not hyped up this well. No offense. We all thought Adam Cole was gonna beat Adam. It was gonna be okay. It was a triple threat, maybe, but it's not even a triple threat. It's Roderick Strong versus MJF, and this is not. No, what's the? You're not even champion, bro. Maybe if Roderick Strong's going for if you're going for a championship title, maybe, but no, this is a regular behind match.
I mean, the only difference between the only thing that a title would do for this, unfortunately, is make it even more definitive that Roderick Strong is not winning. Unfortunately, I think the fact that there's no title involved means there's at least a little bit of a chance. But I mean, AEW is not putting a major title on Roderick Strong, and if MJF was world champion, it's 100% in the books. MJF would be winning that match. I mean, Roderick Strong probably has like a 20% chance right now, but we'll see.
Who's the Intercontinental Champion?
Roderick Strong is Intercontinental Champion.
The international champion is Takeshita.
Ah.
And Okada is it's the belt champion for the C2. I'm not even gonna ask which one it is. He's the belt champion for the C2.
The Continental Classic belt, the Continental Champion.
Yeah, but all right. So to merge them, so to mix to put them all together, Roderick Strong responds to MJF on the ramp. Like I said, he was like, "You think I haven't heard this before? I was cheated this when I was a child." But you know how to counteract this. You do it through hard work. You don't just half-ass it. And at Full Gear, I'm going to beat you. Basically, I don't like no offense. No offense. It's a Roderick Strong promo. I am not a fan of Roderick Strong promos. No offense. Even when he was yelling, it's like no. I'm sorry. Not if you're gonna do a promo, it gotta be less than 2 minutes. But this was longer than that, so it's like, all right. So you're trying to hype up Full Gear. I understand. Any thoughts on this promo from Roderick Strong?
I don't have a problem with Roderick Strong's promo. I think he's better than he was. I think he's come a long way. I like what he's doing now. I didn't necessarily have a problem with this. I mean, obviously, unfortunately, when you're in a promo battle with MJF, you're probably often going to lose because MJF is probably one of the most gifted promos ever. So it's tough to battle with MJF, and Roderick Strong, obviously loses here, but at the same time, I didn't think this was terrible for Roderick.
All right. Sammy, any thoughts?
They be putting in a lot of shit for a match. I wasn't like...
Bruh, that's the thing. Nobody, just do the match, bro.
Right?
I'm not trying to save it, but just do the match. I can't save this, bro. We thought it was going to be Adam Cole. You gave it to Roderick Strong. No offense. Let's go.
I wasn't anticipating any of this.
And I'll be honest with you, I like Roderick Strong. I probably like Roderick Strong more than a lot of people. And I've been on the Roderick Strong bandwagon for a long time. I always liked Roderick Strong when he was with Undisputed Era. I thought he was one of the, the guys that got a little bit less of the whatever, but he was one of the bigger, one of the stronger links in the chain. I've always thought he was underrated. That being said, it's still Roderick Strong, unfortunately, and it's it's MJF versus Roderick Strong, and MJF is MJF. So
online people would debate on who's the best member of Undisputed Era. Is it Adam Cole? Is it Kyle O'Reilly? Is it Roderick Strong?
Bobby Fish. Don't do that.
No.
Kyle O'Reilly.
I like Bobby Fish.
I mean, not Kyle O'Reilly. Adam Cole is the big star, and when you compare Adam Cole to Roderick Strong, no offense to Roderick Strong, but there is a gap there. I mean, Adam Cole is on a different level, unfortunately, for Roderick Strong. Fortunately for Adam Cole, But so yeah, I mean, Roderick Strong and MJF doesn't do for me what Adam Cole and MJF would do for me. But I'm assuming we're still going to get that down the road. I just don't understand why we're pushing it off. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Why we're not just doing it and getting it done with. But
I think it's to like build to the character of Adam Cole here. I think that's what the Kyle O'Reilly thing was building into as well, is that like Adam Cole is going to dive deep into himself and he's going to come out stronger on the other side so that he can topple MJF in the end.
This don't need a build though. Like, we were done with this. Y'all trying to rebuild something that was done with.
This is the midpoint.
All right. Next up, we had where am I? There we are. All right, these two segments were where they were. I'm gonna start with so if you didn't watch Collision, what's his name? Jack Perry tried to attack Daddy Magic. Daniel Garcia saved him. They kidnapped Jack Perry, tied him to the hood of his car, and went for a joyride. Now, fast forward to Dynamite. Daddy Magic, who is on commentary, says this is what happened after we stopped. And they show the video of basically Jack Perry tied up to a chair. Daniel Garcia says, "Wake up!" Throws some water on him, and basically Jack Perry was like, I know you had that dog in you. We're more alike than usual." He's like, "No, we're not, you crazy person." And so he's like, so they try to get at Jack Perry by hitting his car with a crowbar, and Jack Perry starts laughing. "That's all you got?" And then Daniel Garcia was like, he didn't say it, but his facial expression was like, "Yeah, that was all I got." So he drops the crowbar, he drops the crowbar, and they just leave Jack Perry in the warehouse. I did not like this. I would have preferred if they just would have ended it with Jack Perry was on the hood of the car, and they just drove him the time somewhere. And the mystery of what happened, I didn't need to know what happened afterwards. I didn't. More so because I needed Daniel Garcia to beat Jack Perry for this belt. And before this video vignette, whatever you want to call it, I thought that was going to happen. But it's like, oh, really? Y'all going to let Jack Perry beat Daniel Garcia? Boo. Yeah. Boo. Boo. All right.
I think you guys aren't Jack Perry fans.
I'm not.
That's why I thought Daniel Garcia was going to... I wanted... Okay, let's be very clear. I liked Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, more than I liked the Scapegoat. I think that's...
I was going to say that.
Yeah, I think that's his character way better. I think he's doing his best with being a bad guy, but baby boy, you not that dude. And sometimes you gotta realize that you're not that dude.
I'll never forget when the internet clowned him though, when he came back and he was like, "I'm dating the hottest bitch in AEW," and Twitter was just like, "Oh, didn't know you were dating Sky Blue."
Like, you ain't that dude, bruh. So yeah, I am kind of down on this because like I didn't need to see this, and I don't want to see Perry win.
Well, it's one thing when like I don't know, like the Swerve Hangman stuff felt fine, and that felt commiserate with each other, like they were both kind of going after each other equally. For some reason, this feels like Daniel Garcia was supposed to be kind of the baby face here in this story, I thought, and now these actions are clearly kind of heelish actions for sure, and now he's kind of... this makes me have a bad taste about Daniel Garcia in my mouth to a certain extent. Like, it almost makes you indirectly, and you shouldn't be somewhat sympathetic maybe for Jack Perry almost, like in a weird reversal way, and that's not what they want for the story, I think. So, I don't know. It's weird to me. I mean, I thought this is a weird turn, so I didn't like it either.
To that credit, I will say this. On Collision, Jack Perry attacked Daddy Magic first, and he was going to do something to Daddy Magic until Danny Garcia chased him down. And like, oh, we're going to do that. Here's your comeuppance. So I'm not feeling bad about them. Yeah, I'm not feeling bad about them beating up Jack Perry. It's more so of, oh, y'all really want Jack... Jack Perry's gonna win this. Boo.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it necessarily made me feel that way one way or the other, but honestly, like you talk about this card potentially being a bad pay-per-view. This is one of those matches I don't really care about. It just
And that's
doesn't
like
do
half
much.
the card.
Just doesn't do a whole lot for me. I'm sure the match itself will be fine. I mean, Daniel Garcia is a solid wrestler. Jack Perry's a solid in-ring worker. I'm sure the work inside the ring will be fine. I just don't care.
It just feels
I don't
like
really
a
care about the
Dynamite
outcome
match and
either.
not a.
Yeah. I don't really care about the outcome either. Honestly, either one that walks away with that title is still Jack Perry hasn't done a whole lot with it, and I don't know what they're going to do with Daniel Garcia with the title. So, I mean, I'm not excited. I'm not overly excited for a Daniel Garcia title run. Like, I don't even know what that looks like. I'm not sure. I mean, if they
In Jack
make it
Perry's
great, that's
defense,
fine.
he's only held the title for like 2 months. So saying he
Yeah.
hasn't done much with it, like that's fair.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
he hasn't held it that long.
that's true. This is true.
I wish he would have done more Jack Perry. Being on Dynamite with him being the TNT champion, but they didn't. So I'm not gonna really accuse. I'm not even gonna put the whole fault on Jack Perry. But it's like it's for me. It's time to move on. It's time to move on.
I felt like Jack Perry did great with the lines, though. Like, I think his talking has come along a long way.
Yeah.
He used to be one of the worst talkers, and now he's pretty damn good. I mean, he's still no Eddie Kingston, but he's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, few people are Eddie Kingston. I mean, I think he's, I never, when they were talking about him going heel in the very first place, and he was Hollywood Jack Perry when he decided to go heel first. That didn't work. Now scapegoat Jack Perry doesn't work for me either. I think he's a face. I think that's where he works best. I just think I feel like he's trying too hard, and it doesn't feel authentic. It feels like he's not himself. And I think that when he was doing Jungle Boy with Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt and Jurassic, it felt like himself. He looked like he was happy, enjoying himself. It just felt like this is Jack Perry, and this doesn't feel like Jack Perry. So,
yeah. I think he still has a future, but him a TNT champion. Let's move on. All right. So our another promo segment is the contract signing of Ishii and Chris Jericho. Rick Paquette is residing over this. Ishii signs, and Chris Jericho is like, "Look here, Renee. I don't understand. I haven't really went through all of these. I'm not going to sign it today." And Renee was like, "Yes, you did. You sent it to your lawyer. I'm already signing it now." I was like, "Yeah, well, I'm not going to sign it. I want to bring it to my lawyer, and I'll have it back for you." And he tries to walk away, and he walks away, admires the picture of his face on the wall, and you notice that Ishii just got up. He's following him. And Jericho sees it too, so he's walking a little bit fast. Not fiddly fast, just a little bit faster. He says, "Hey," so Ishii is just following him, and so Jericho's trying to deflect it, like, "Hey, worker, Ishii wants to talk to you," but no, it's this steadily stalking pace up until we get to the ring, and so we get to the ring. And Chris Jericho's like, okay, I would sign this now, but I don't have a pin. And he pulls a pin out of the shorts, click, classic list, pin click, I like it. And so he forces Jericho to side. Here comes the learning tree of Brian Keith and Big Bill attacking Ishii. But since OC don't want the help, I guess Mark Briscoe and Mark Romero is going to help Ishii. They come out and beat up the learning tree. Everyone stands tall. Ishii, the collaboration stands tall in the ring. Any comments on this segment?
I mean, not really. I mean, even though I love Ishii and the conglomeration, this was probably my least favorite segment of the show. And honestly, I don't need to see this anymore. I don't need the learning tree anymore, but I don't need to see this feud anymore. So that's all I got to say.
So this was the worst for you.
Yes.
I'll say
I think so.
The whole collaboration and Chris Jericho feud, this was probably the best they could do. for me. Like, all right, at least it didn't suck. It didn't suck.
I thought Ishii was hilarious following him.
He was pretty. He
Well,
was
I mean, I like Ishii, and I mean, the comedic stuff between him and Jericho was funny, and he's great. I don't like Chris Jericho, and I don't care. Like,
I'd sign it, but I don't have a pin. Pulls out pin.
as long as Ishii beats Jericho, I'm happy. But I don't imagine that's going to happen, and so yeah, it makes me disappointed, and I don't want to see Jericho. So
right. It is what it is. Like I said, this could have been worse. It wasn't worse. It wasn't worse. All right.
Explain to me how Jericho can flip-flop between being the best thing on AEW and the worst thing on AEW.
Bruh, just go home.
from minute to minute, day to day, it's like, man.
Like, I said this in my mind, where it's like, look at Moxley. He actually took a break he needed, and he's come back with this awesome Death Riders group and his awesome storyline. See, Jericho, if you just go home for a minute, you can actually rest your brain and come back with something that can actually not suck. Just saying. Instead of going 3 months and sucking, and then a bright light comes, we gotta wait another 3 months for that bright light to come back. No. All right. Finally, the main event of OC and Yuta. And the story we're telling is Yuta is more aggressive, but OC keeps getting back up. So Yuta is tossing OC to and fro while Yuta is doing wrestling. Yuta is tossing OC to and fro while OC is countering with wrestling moves. But more so, Yuta is giving it to OC. Same type of thing. Same type of thing this match was Yuta on the offense, right? And to Sammy, what Sammy said earlier, the brain busts to the guardrail, just making hammering the elbows to OC's chin, but OC just keeps getting back up. And so Yuta goes for one final boom, we call it aggressive move, and OC counters with a wrestling move. OC wins. OC's been saying this to Moxley. I'm going to beat you in a wrestling match. I'm going to out-wrestle you. See what I did to Yuta. All right, so he wins and beats Yuta. Death Riders come out and attack OC. He told his friends not to. He told his friends not to. Not to help. They listen. So that's behind what he actually taped his hands around his pockets, and they're just beating him up. And so OC was being defiant. He does his little gentle kicks to the chin, and with that, they give him another not clothesline, but bullet to the head. He finally gets knocked out. Death Riders go into the audience, but when they turn around, OC is not down completely. He gets back up. He ruffles his hair. He puts shades on. Oh, there's concern in Moxley's face. How will he keep OC down? I get the story. Don't like the execution. I don't like the execution at all. Again, number one, you have friends. When you tell them to stay in the back was dumb. More so, this was a beatdown. I do think someone said it in the group chat on AEW Ramble. This should have been a bigger beatdown. I agree with that. Like, if they would have maybe used a weapon, like a chair, or like dropped them on a table, maybe this was more of a big build when it's like, oh God, he got back up. Maybe it would have been more if they would have done more to him. But just taping his arms and beating him up wasn't enough. It just didn't land how they wanted to land. Where it's like, oh my gosh, how would Moxley keep OC down? He's gonna do it. I don't think anyone's not gonna do it. So it is what it is. Yeah.
I thought it was a solid match, but I didn't feel like the main event.
See, I thought it was match of the night until the very end. I thought up until the very ending. I mean, I thought the spot with the brainbuster on the guardrail. I thought he got DDT'd on the
Mm-hmm.
ring apron. I thought they laid it all out on the line. I really enjoyed Yuta versus OC until uh not very beaten Yuta loses into a roll up after like 15 minutes. I thought was kind of out of nowhere. Orange Cassidy didn't even hit him with a move beforehand, really. I mean, so it was like, okay. So other than that little 3-second window at the end for the win, I thought the match itself was match of the night. I thought they killed it. The Moxley tying him up. I mean, that's the worst duct tape job. I mean, it took him forever to get the duct tape around his arms, for one. It took way too long. Secondly, yeah, they didn't do enough with it. The whole friend stay in the back. I don't care. Even if you tell me to stay in the back, if I see you getting duct taped and beat up, I'm coming out. Like, sorry, I'm not going to just sit back there because you told me to stay back there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to do all that. And that being said, and I'm not an Orange Cassidy fan, this was how you sell getting beat up. MVP, Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley. This is they didn't even use a fucking chain. It was duct tape and a couple bad right hand spots from Moxley. And at least OC made it look like he was beat up. Like, so take some advice from Mock, take some lead from the example from OC next time, and that's how it should look for MVP when they got beat up. But I mean, I thought it was okay. I mean, are Yuta and OC worthy of a main event of a Dynamite? I don't know. I thought the match was really solid. I'm still not sure that I necessarily think that on a regular basis the two of them are necessarily proven to be main event closers on a show together. But I really enjoyed the match up until the very ending. And I think the ending spot was fine. I mean, it was, this is what the Death Riders do. So
I felt like it would play better if this was the opening match, not the closing match.
I agree with that. I agree with that. It would have been a really, really strong opening match. I agree with that 100%. Anika is back. So
Echo.
that, I think that was the end of AEW, right?
Yeah. What did you just say, Sammy, about it?
I
missed
I
it.
said it'd be a better opener than it was the closer.
Yeah. All right. So, what grades do you guys give it?
I want to give it a B, but honestly, I felt like this week I kind of enjoyed Raw a little bit more, which for me is saying a lot. NXT was definitely down this week, so NXT is out of the running. So the question is what grade I give AEW this week. And even though I thought the main event was solid, I do kind of agree with Sammy that I don't know that it was worthy of being a main event, even though I still think when it was going before that, the ending, it was probably match of the night for me because the wrestling was so good. That spot with the brainbuster on the guardrail, I thought was just insane. And then some of the work they did on the ring apron, I thought was pretty incredible. So, but they did have some down spots. I thought the stuff with MVP and them and Swerve and No Cell was really bad. I'm gonna give this a B minus. I think Raw beats it this week. I think Raw was a B and this was a B minus. So I think Raw got it this week for me.
Sammy?
I'm on the opposite spectrum. I gave Raw a B minus. If they just tweaked a few things, this could be looking at an A minus show for me, but it can only go B plus.
Oh,
it was. Okay.
Anika's a tiebreaker.
All right. I'm gonna try to be impartial here. No, I wouldn't be impartial.
You can't be impartial. It's your pick.
Okay. I'm trying to think of the best moments on Raw and the best moments of AEW. And the worst moments of Raw, the worst moments of AEW.
So, best moment of AEW was what, the Hangman promo?
That was so good.
Or the Darby Claudio match, depending on if you want promo or match.
Was so good. The Claudio match was so good.
The worst moment was
Done behind segments, promos, for no offense, but sweet baby Jesus, like, okay, let's not go there. Best moments on Raw. Love Rhea coming back. Love Sheamus and love Sheamus versus Braun Breaker. That was
even
great.
with the ending.
Even with the ending, I love Luke Kaiser, so I'm not mad that they're trying to make it a triple threat. So I'm not mad at that. No offense. I actually like that Rey Mysterio and Selena Vega are giving Alpha May something to do. I actually like that. And even though we're like, and Bronson Reed versus Seth was pretty doggone good. Shoot.
Well, you gave Raw a B. So
Raw B. So more so, I can't give Dynamite a B plus. So it's between a B or a B minus. As for this to be the go home show, and I know it shouldn't be a deciding factor like that, but the women was no, sorry, y'all gotta do better. All right, that's it. So we don't tarry long. For me, B minus. I got to put that minus B minus.
Okay, so both of you thought Raw was better. All right.
Just for this week.
go ahead.
Just for this week, and especially since the go home show, and y'all thought Wheeler Yuta and OC was the and then that really did, and then no offense. How OC acted was egregiously dumb. It was just egregiously dumb. Nothing on Raw was that egregiously. You have friends. You're telling them to go stay in the back. That's dumb. So yeah, Raw went this week. That was too stupid. That was too freaking stupid.
All right. So Monday Night Raw takes the win this week. Monday Night Raw is in our winner's circle this week. We are going to wrap it up and get out of here because we got to be back in just a few hours with our AEW Full Gear pay-per-view watch along. So let's do a little house cleaning real quick and then we'll get out of here. Sundays, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. Enter the square circle, myself and Sammy Joe doing some sort of video gaming. I'm not sure what it will be tomorrow as of right now, but it will be something. So tune in and be surprised along with us. On Tuesdays, we do the cookout. Live 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 Eastern, where we all come together and talk about what's cooking up in the world of professional wrestling. I think we're going to be doing our second episode of Lucha, season 1 of Lucha Underground this week. And then after that, we'll be moving into horsey season. So December will be horsey month. And I think the first 3 weeks of December will be the horsies. And then we'll probably take our obligatory Christmas, New Year's vacation that we always take and then be back after the beginning of the year. So make sure and join us next Tuesday for episode 2, watch along of season 1 of Lucha Underground. And then on Friday nights, Sammy Joe and Anika are here watching SmackDown and AEW Rampage starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Running through the end of Rampage, they watch it in real time and give you their real-time reactions and opinions on the shows. Then on Saturday mornings, which you're here for us now with Winner's Circle, we come together, review Raw, NXT, and Dynamite, and give you our favorite show of the week. This week it was Monday Night Raw, which it has been heavily AEW Dynamite. NXT has won a couple weeks. I think this is only the second or third time Raw's actually won. So I don't want to say it's an upset because Raw is an A show and should never be considered an upset. But for Winner's Circle, it is a bit of an upset anytime it isn't Dynamite. At least so it appears.
Yeah.
But this week it was Raw. And then Saturday nights usually we'll have Saturday night is All Right Collision Watch Long. We won't be doing that tonight because AEW is not doing Collision because they are doing AEW Full Gear, the pay-per-view that we will be here watching live. So 5 p.m. Pacific, make sure in 8 p.m. Eastern, join us for Full Gear for our live watch along. Unless you guys got anything else to say, we'll get up out of here. Peace.